store for what could be a terrific battle between these two conference rivals. As you take a look at the series history, Oklahoma State has won 4 straight by an average of 47-15, including the last 2 here in Lubbock. But Tech holds the all-time lead, 21-16-3, in a series that dates back to 1935. Mike Gundy was an incredible quarterback during his time at Oklahoma State. He's got his team with a 6-1 record, 3-1 in conference play. Their only loss to West Virginia. Meanwhile, the 34-year-old rock star, most eligible bachelor in Lubbock, Clint Kingsbury. They say our coach is hotter than yours. They've actually got T-shirts printed of it too, folks. Christina Pink will tell you about that a little later on. Texas Tech will receive the football. Oklahoma State won the toss and deferred. Jakeem Grant and Bradley Marquez back deep. Kip Smith sends it away deep into the end zone, and Texas Tech will start from their own 25. Now let's take a look at our high-performance players.
Jay Samaro, the tight end for Texas Tech, is putting together an All-American campaign, the leading receiver in the Big 12. Jakeem Grant is a matchup nightmare. He may be small, but fast and strong. On defense, for Oklahoma State, Tyler Johnson leads them in sacks with 4, and Shamil Gary, the senior safety, gets better with each passing week. Very dependable in the secondary.
So Davis Webb, 6'4", only 195 pounds from Prosper, Texas. He started the last 3 games since coming in for an injured Baker Mayfield versus Kansas. He'll start at his own 25, empty backfield for the freshman. And he'll throw it underneath, incomplete, intended for Jakeem Grant. Oh, when we talked to Cliff Kingsbury yesterday in his office, he talked about his young quarterback, and he said he's got an NFL arm.
He has all the attributes you're looking for. He's going to need a little more weight. Right now, he can shower in a gun barrel. We know that, all right, when you take a look at him. But he's going to get bigger and stronger, and the arm is definitely there.
Second down and 10. He'll find Grant in the flats, turns it up, kicks over the 25, up to the 27. Sean Lewis comes up and makes the tackle. And some shifts going on the Oklahoma State defense.
Yeah, when you take a look at what they're going to do tonight, watch Sean Lewis, number 11, and see if he spends a lot of time bumping out and spying on number 22, Jay Samaro, the All-American tight end. They like to use Lewis all over the place. Amaro is a big matchup deal for them tonight.
Third down and 7 at the 27-yard line. Benny Williams lines up in the backfield next to Davis Webb. Here's Webb to throw. Under pressure, and he'll get rid of it. Incomplete. Texas Tech 3 and out as they prepare to punt it away. Nice pressure by Trace Clark, the sophomore from Wichita, Kansas.
In our pregame show, you heard Eddie George talk about the difference in why Oklahoma State has the record they have this year. It has been their defense, getting off the field, creating turnovers. Their defense coordinator, Glenn Spencer, has these guys believing and playing at a very high level.
Ryan Erkslaven will punt it from the 14-yard line. Last year versus Oklahoma State, he had 2 punts blocked by Zach Craig, 1 return for a touchdown. This one fielded at the 25. And some nice play on special teams by Texas Tech. A 48-yard punt. No return on the play. Michael Alway with the tackle on special teams. And a look at our high-performance players.
Desmond Rowland, the running back for Oklahoma State, 219 yards last week. They expect him to be their bell cow the rest of the year. Josh Stewart, expect him to move all over the place on offense tonight, trying to create matchups for them downfield. For Texas Tech, Will Smith is their leading tackler and leading sack man at the linebacker position, and Bruce Jones their corner. Small but mighty, double-digit tackles last week at Oklahoma.
First down and 10 at the 25, and they'll hand it off to Rowland on first down. And he'll get 7, maybe 8 on the play. Terrence Bullitt with the tackle. So Clint Chelf came in a couple of weeks ago against TCU from J.W. Walsh. Rushed the ball pretty well last week, but didn't throw it well last week against Iowa State.
And if he doesn't throw it well early tonight, I don't think he'll stay on the field for very long. Oklahoma State will want to run the football as they've done on the first 2 plays, but if Chelf can't pay it off throwing the ball, expect to see J.W. Walsh early in this game.
And the thing about Oklahoma State, they're the only team in the country that's had a 500-yard passing game against Texas San Antonio and a 300-yard rushing game last week against Iowa State. They're looking to put both components together. First down and 10. And they hand it off, rolling once again. He stood up and driven backwards. Pete Robertson, the sophomore from Longview, Texas. Stuffing the play. And they'll gain about 1.5 yards. And Robertson will come out. Looks like he may be dinged. A lot of injuries on this Texas Tech defense.
Had to do a lot of cross-training amongst positions to try and get their best 11 on the field.
Trips at the top of your screen for the Cowboys. 2nd and 8 at the 38. Here's Chelf, the pass under pressure, and he'll get rid of it, but take a hit by Zach Winbush.
But he made a nice decision because watch on the screen, to the right of your screen, watch number 1, Terrence Bullitt. Okay, see right there, they latch on to the screen guy. Now watch the rest of the play. He's right there. So with the pressure from Winbush in the face of Chelf, he made a nice decision to throw the ball at the feet of the offensive player so it doesn't get picked off.
And no matter who the quarterback has been, Oklahoma State has struggled throwing the ball on 3rd down this year, completing just 43% on 3rd down. They need 8 here from the 38. Opening series for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Empty backfield for Chelf. Steps into his throw and incomplete. He was hit as he let it go. Looks like Trey Porter was in the backfield. So each team 3 and out to start this game.
So Matt Wallerstead, the defensive coordinator, comes at it early. Trey Porter, safety blitz from the backside, hits Chelf as he's throwing the football. He can't get anything on it. Fortunate the ball was not intercepted downfield as only 3 black shirts were around it.
So Kip Smith punting it away. Jordan Davis back deep at his own 10. He'll come up to field it. And this ball will be spotted at the 21. To the game.
For Oklahoma State, it is running the football, and that's Desmond Rowland, run, 219 yards last week. Texas Tech, Cliff Kingsbury tweeted out, hashtag let's get weird to the students and to the populace here. He wants to continue to give these people a reason to support the home team.
On first down, here's a draw play. Sadale Foster will lose yardage on the play, maybe 3 yards. Ryan Simmons not fooled.
How about how this game is opening up, Gus? Defense, defense, defense. Texas Tech on the first play had a chance for a big shot and missed it with Jakeem Grant. But since then, the defense have taken over.
2nd down and 13 over the middle, and it's caught. This time, Jason Morrow, the tight end, a first down and more. Beautiful run after the catch for a gain of 27 yards for Jason Morrow.
And look at how he gets it to him on the move. Right in stride, Jason Morrow running away from coverage. So forget the defense, defense, defense. The offense back in the game.
Leading receiver among tight ends in the nation. Jakeem Grant lining up in the backfield. And he's stopped by James Castleman, the junior from not far away, Amarillo, Texas, about a 2-hour drive from Lubbock.
Castleman was an original Texas Tech commit before deciding to go to Oklahoma State.
2nd down and 6 at midfield. 2nd series for the Red Raiders. And they'll hand it off, DeAndre Washington. And he's stopped by Castleman.
One thing to keep an eye on, Cliff Kingsbury's not wedded to throwing the ball no matter what. If the running game is working, he'll keep coming back to it. For a guy with all of his swagger and GQ looks, he has very little ego in terms of calling a game.
Here's Webb to throw it. Pumps. Lets it go and incomplete. Dangerous pass by the freshman. Davis Webb, Bradley Marquez, closest man to the football.
The double pump trying to get someone open, but the coverage, as you noted, was excellent there. Even had a little bit of jersey on Bradley Marquez that went undetected. Ball falls incomplete.
Ryan Ertzlaben coming in to punt once again. His first punt, 48 yards. And the dangerous Josh Stewart back deep at the 10. He had a 95-yard return for a touchdown against TCU a couple of weeks ago. Fair caught at the 15. So coming up, the Oklahoma State Cowboys back on offense. We'll see if they can get it to Josh Stewart right after this. And Oklahoma State rose 1 spot to 18. Baylor, Oklahoma with a huge game coming up on Fox Sports 1 this coming Thursday.
You know we're going to be tuned into that one, aren't we?
No doubt about it. First down and 10 at the 16. Chelf out of the shotgun. He'll hand it off to Desmond Rowland. And he'll get downhill, rolling over the 20 up to the 22.5-yard line before being stopped by Sam McGuavin. Second and 5. Rowland squeezes through the hole, and an ankle tackle brings him down at the 25-yard line. Brandon Jackson had to track him from behind.
You know, when you think of Oklahoma State, you think of pace and tempo and how fast they want to play. Look at how deliberate they are right now. Pretty much huddling right now. Offensive line coming up. They're being very deliberate in trying to pick up this first down.
Third down and 2. Rowland looking for the first down, and he has it as he crosses the 25 and gets up to the 27. Trey Porter with the tackle.
Look at the left side of the line. Motion is going back right, but Kai Staley, number 9, nice block on the inside that allowed Rowland the access to get upfield, and then look how he runs tough. Drops the shoulder and picks up the first down.
So a first down at the 28-yard line for Oklahoma State. Play fake. Chelf wants to throw, and he finds his receiver on the seam route at the 45. And it's Tracy Moore, the senior from Tulsa, with the catch, and it's a gain of 19.
And if Oklahoma State continues to run the football the way that they have, Clint Chelf should have no excuses for not being a more accurate passer. The play-action game is there because of the good running by Oklahoma State early.
First down to the 47, and they'll keep it on the ground and cross into Texas Tech territory. Donnell Wesley with the tackle. But when you look at Chelf, in the 6.5 quarters since he replaced J.W. Smith, he has completed 20 of 51 passes. That's a sub 40% completion percentage.
Yeah, that was the game we did. TCU, J.W. Walsh threw 2 interceptions early. And Chelf came in after that, threw an interception on his first pass, but has been the quarterback ever since.
Chelf swinging it out to Jeremy Smith. And Smith breaks a tackle, and he'll get to the 30.
To get swing passes like this, you need these guys to block. Look at this. Block here, here. Now watch Moore go downfield, pick up a block himself, number 17. Terrific job by the wide receivers of Oklahoma State.
First down and 10 at the 32. This time they hand it. Jeremy Smith running, still on his feet, and he'll be tracked down inside the Texas Tech 10-yard line. Will Smith with the saving tackle, a gain of 23.
Let's see if they go fast now after the big play instead of being deliberate.
Jeremy Smith again with room, and his forward progress should get him to the 5.
And he's not going to run with any amount of anger, is he, partner? Jeremy Smith began the season as the starter, 102 yards in the season opener. Has lost his job, and in a lot of ways he might even be third string. He came in on that first run and ran with some angst.
He's 7th in OSU history with 33 rushing touchdowns, so he's good when this team gets close to the goal line. And a timeout on the field. Back after this.
This handle's really nice.
Yep. Offensive line, second game in a row. It's the same guys starting at the same positions. Look at the rushing yardage early. The way they're running the football, their confidence is rising.
Second down and goal at the 6-yard line. Desmond Rowland, the deep back. And they'll give it to him running the left. This time, he'll struggle to get back to the line of scrimmage. Will Smith, great anticipation defensively for the Red Raiders.
Texas Tech is running out essentially their nickel package with their smaller linebackers. Let's see if Oklahoma State decides to try and run the football against a little bit lighter lineup.
Desmond Rowland remains in the backfield. Third down goal at the 6. Chelf to throw in the corner. And the ball is caught by Tracy Moore. A flag is on the play, though. But Moore catches it for the touchdown, but let's see.
In my first look, that looked like a very well-thrown football.
Pass interference, defense, number 4. The penalty.
play, a touchdown.
Derek Mays called for pass interference, so the touchdown will stand, and Oklahoma State strikes first.
How about Tracy Moore using his body and essentially blocking off like a box out in basketball of Derek Mays. No accident, Tracy Moore's father. Tracy also played in the NBA, so he learned that well.
Second touchdown of the season for Tracy Moore. Extra point up and good by Ben Grogan. And with 7:17 to play in the first quarter, Mike Gundy's team marches down the field and take a 7-0 lead. Texas Tech, he was 11 of 21 for 229 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He also rushed for 40 yards on 4 carries. Cowboys send it away. Jakeem Grant, Randy Marquez back deep. And they won't get an opportunity to return this one. Now let's go to Patrick O'Neill in Los Angeles for a Lowe's Never Stop Improving game break.
All right, thanks a lot. A Big Ten fantastic finish. Nebraska down 3 to Northwestern. No time left on the clock. Ron Kellogg, the Hail Mary. It's going to get tipped and caught by Jordan Westerkamp. That would be the game winner. And Gus and Charles, Bo Pelini almost smiled after this win for Nebraska. Almost. Back to you.
We've seen that before at Nebraska, haven't we, Patrick? They won a national championship with a similar tipped-up ball that was caught in the end zone and kept the national title hopes alive.
First down and 10. Webb throwing near side for Jason Morrow. Incomplete. So Texas Tech offensively to start this game, they look a little bit out of sync.
And last week against Oklahoma, they had the same issue in terms of getting started. Once they got rolling, they were good. But so far again tonight, a little slow out of the gate.
Webb 2 for 6, 28 yards. And they'll find Kenny Williams out of the backfield. Caleb Levy with the tackle. It's a loss of 1 on the play.
And he's one of the more underrated players in the country as far as I'm concerned. Levy, a classic-looking middle linebacker who runs better than you give him credit for, and he snuffed out that play running from inside out.
Third down and 11 at the 24. Trips at the top of your screen. Here's Webb underneath the beautiful catch. He dropped it. Ball picked up. And let's see, they call him down at the 45.
The ruling on the field is the receiver was down by rule. First down.
If it stands, it's a 20-yard gain.
Look at this throw. Over the top of the linebacker, dropping in coverage, Joe Mitchell, number 29. And look at the catch by Amaro. Just pretty much takes it over off the top of it.
The ruling on the field that the receiver was down by rule is under further review.
And when he says down by rule, he's saying he hit the ground, and the ground caused the ball to come free. Reggie Smith, the referee this evening.
Daquan Lowe with a beautiful tackle on Jason Morrow.
And look at the end of this play. You see how low he goes on Amaro?
Oh,
and that ball may have been working its way out. This is going to be a very interesting review. But the first thing I was trying to point out, that tackle by Lowe, remember what rule came into play this year, guys? Targeting. People are worried about going up high. So the defensive backs, especially when you're dealing with a guy who's 6'6", 260 pounds, you may not go up as high and take him on. You're going to go lower now. And if they determine that ball was working its way free, we should have clear recovery by Oklahoma State. Watch as the play goes. Hands down, ball's working its way free. I think that this play is going to go and be reversed, and Oklahoma State is going to end up with the football. Because I think his hand was coming down first, not his forearm that would have called him down.
Jason Morrow last week versus Oklahoma had 8 catches for 119 yards, but a costly fumble as Tech was approaching the red zone.
And he said that was his first fumble ever, and he wasn't going to do it again, and we may have his second one early in this game.
So while the officials sort this one out, let's join Mike Pereira, who's standing by in Los Angeles. Michael, your thoughts on this play?
Well, I think Charles is all over this. They're going to reverse this because, A, the hand doesn't put you down. The ball was coming out before the forearm got to the ground, and there is a clear recovery. Now, no advance will be allowed by the defensive team, but at least they can overrule the ruling of being down and give the ball to the recovering team.
See,
Focus
there's
on the hand.
Yep.
But the ball comes out, right? So they'll look at this now, and they'll give the ball to the defensive team at the spot right where it gets picked up. So you can see number 27 is the one that first possesses the ball right there. That's where the ball becomes dead at that point.
That's Lindell Johnson, their safety man, picking up the fumble. But Mike, as he pointed out, the hand came down first, ball was working its way free. If it had been a forearm, Texas Tech would have been in better shape. Forearm would have caused been like body down. Hand, you're still trying to keep yourself upright.
As you take a look at Glenn Spencer, the defensive coordinator, coaching his guys up.
Well, they gave this one a thorough examination, didn't they?
After further review, the ball was fumbled and recovered in the immediate action by the defense at the 45-yard line. It'll be Oklahoma State's ball, 1st and 10 from the 45.
So Texas Tech turns it over. Amaro fumbles in back-to-back weeks. And Oklahoma State has the football at the Red Raider 45.
And what will be interesting now is to see what Mike Gundy's strategy is on offense. In the past, Gus, when he maybe was more confident in throwing it, they might have taken a shot right here. Unsettled, take a big one. But with what they're doing now, maybe he might feel like pounding it out of them a little bit and establishing their will over Texas Tech if they can run the ball. We'll see.
First down. Desmond rolling. He does run it. And he'll pick up no yards on the play. Cowboys quickly to the line of scrimmage. Austin Stewart with the tackle for the Red Raiders. Chelf. And they'll flea flicker it back. Chelf going downfield with the receiver. Caught at the goal line. What a play. Jawan Seals. A 44-yard gain.
And look at what they do. That's a young safety, Keenan Ward, number 15, getting his first start. Peeking in the backfield, they get the step, and Chelf delivers.
First down and goal at the 1. Rolling. Touchdown, Oklahoma State. Two touchdowns in a minute and 13 for the Cowboys, who have taken a 13-0 lead.
And why does the flea flicker work? Because they've established running the football well early in the game. Handed it off, he pitches it back. They've taken advantage of a young safety getting his first start in Keenan Ward. He's peeking in the backfield. They get the big steps on him, and Chelf delivers it very well out in front, sets up the touchdown.
Ben Grogan in to attempt the extra point, and it's good. Oklahoma State on the road. Back-to-back weeks. Last week they did it with the ground game against Iowa State. Today they're using the run to set 6 yards and a touchdown. And the Cowboys have a 14-0 lead. This ball fielded at the goal line by Jakeem Grant. And Grant will push forward and get to the 20. So Oklahoma State is riding a 4-game win streak versus Tech, which is tied for the longest streak in the series. The Cowboys have outscored the Red Raiders 189-61 and have 11 takeaways in the last 4 games.
In pregame, our partner Christina Pink talked about Cliff Kingsbury and the motivational signs up top in the locker room showing the 98-point deficit over the last 2 games, trying to get his guys going. Look at the last 2 meetings. 62.5 to 13.5 in terms of points.
So Davis Webb in a hole to start this game. He'll throw it. And this one over the head of Bradley Marquez. Looked like Marquez may have run the wrong route.
Gus, let me ask you a quick question.
Sure.
Does it feel to you a little bit like Texas Tech is starting to press early?
Yes.
I feel like the tension is mounted on them. That throw there was an airmail throw by Davis Webb. Not normal for him. Usually a little more composure from him.
Here's Webb again underneath Amaro with the catch and the first down. So Chase Amaro gains 13. Daquan Lowe brings him down. And this man has a knack for being able to get open.
Get open and make big plays downfield. I love the last throw by Webb. A calming throw, putting it right on his tight end.
Webb to the far side. And this ball caught by Kenny Williams. Nice running after the catch. You pick up about 5 as Tyler Johnson drops the shoulder on it.
For Texas Tech, they have to understand they may be down 14, but we're still in the first quarter. It's a long way to go in this game. You're not going to get 14 back on one big play. Just continue to do what they've done the last 2 plays. Run their offense.
Second down and 5, empty backfield for Webb. Webb underneath, incomplete to Jakeem Grant. Grant was open.
Second time they've essentially run that play. This first play of the game, and then that play, and both times Davis Webb inaccurate in getting it to Jakeem Grant, who had running room on both of those occasions.
Davis Webb in high school at Prosper High, passed for 2,600 yards and 23 touchdowns. Ranked the number 21 quarterback in the nation. Third down and 5. They're 0 for 3 on third down conversions. Here's Webb. Drops it off, knocked away. Great job by the Cowboy defense. Lindell Johnson reached around and redirected the football, and Tech will have to punt it.
And look at the coverage here against Jay Samara. Lindell Johnson had been playing linebacker up until this year. They moved him to safety. He lost 15 pounds in the offseason to play safety. And look at the man coverage against Jay Samara on a key third down, knocking it away.
So Josh Stewart is back deep. Erxleben punting once again. The third time.
And blocked again! Picked up at the 45.
Derek Branson blocks the punt. Only the third time Erxleben has had a punt blocked, and all 3 have come against Oklahoma State.
Last year, the 2 were by Zach Craig. Now you get Branson, who has a free release right up the middle and essentially takes the ball off the foot of Erxleben and then recovers it after he blocks it. No one at anything on Branson. He pretty much waltzed back to Erxleben to block the kick. Oklahoma State obviously in business at the plus 15.
So a first down and 10 at the 15-yard line of Texas Tech for the Cowboys. Chelf, great rhythm to start this game at quarterback. And he hands it off to Rowland over the right side. And he'll stumble forward, pick up 5, and get inside the 10. Pete Robertson with the tackle.
That offensive line of Oklahoma State, you talked about rhythm. They have their rhythm now. Look at them now. From the inside out, Jake Jenkins, number 54, the pivot at center. They are really starting to play well.
Empty backfield for Chelf. He can run it. Chelf, that ball deflected and incomplete. Brandon Jackson got a hand on the football. That makes it 3rd and 5 at the 10.
They went Tracy Moore on the fade last time. He's to the short side at the top of your screen, number 87.
Rolling back in. He's the pistol back. Chelf gives it to Rowland. He spins, still on his feet, churning and picks up a first down. Desmond Rowland.
And he should have been tackled at the line of scrimmage. Watch it, right, stop, right there. Free hitter. Missed him right there, Pete Robertson.
Rowland burrows in. And a touchdown for the Cowboys. Wow. Second touchdown of the day for Desmond Rowland. And Oklahoma State with a chance to take a 21-zip lead. And we're only in the first quarter with over 4 remaining. "13 carries, 68 yards, and 2 scores for the junior from Dallas. Extra point is good. Mike Gundy this year, he's been grumpy, folks, to say the least. His quarterback play hasn't been what he wants it to be, but I tell you what, they are pounding the football last 2 weeks.
And you know what will improve his quarterback play? Plays like we just saw. The runs that we're seeing out of Rowland. Because when you get that, and now you open up play action to a quarterback, they become more accurate throwing the football. The throwing lanes open. The pass protection gets better. And they should have plenty of easy sight lines to make throws. Mike Gundy, when his quarterbacks are playing well, happiest man on earth. When they're struggling, he's concerned. Right now, he should be feeling pretty good, but you know he's not going to let himself relax right now. Look at that stat, Gus. 30 straight games with a TD drive to 2 minutes or less. 4th longest in Division 1A football.
Tell you what, Mike Gundy is a terrific football coach. 2011 National Coach of the Year, led the team to a 12-and-run record, their first ever Big 12 title, Fiesta Bowl victory over Stanford.
And you mentioned what a terrific player he was, the all-time leading passer in Big 8 football history.
His team well prepared in this first quarter on the road, back-to-back weeks. Oklahoma State predicted to win the Big 12. I'll tell you what, though, a game that is the game to watch. Oklahoma in Waco taking on Baylor. They've taken off the tarp at the top.
Listen, they could sell so many more seats this week for this game. This game doesn't just have Big 12 implications. It has national championship implications.
Coverage of Oklahoma-Baylor begins Thursday only on Fox Sports 1. To find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com. So how does Texas Tech respond? First down and 10. At the 25 for Davis Webb. Webb to Amaro. He turns it up. Picks up the first down more. Datejuan Lowe finally knocking him out of bounds after a 15-yard gain. But remember, as we told you at the top of our telecast, Texas Tech can score points in bunches. But this is their largest deficit they've faced this season, down 21 shake. First down to the 40. Webb over the middle. And it is caught. Jordan Davis.
That was essentially the same play. They just traded people. They went from the big guy, Jason Morrow, to a smaller 5'9", 170-pound Jordan Davis and ran the same call. Just swaps out personnel.
First down at the Oklahoma State 48. And a penalty will be assessed against the Red Raiders.
Full start, offense, number 62, 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
That's LaRaven Clark, the left tackle.
And unfortunately, it's not a surprise. They average over 7 penalties per ball game. They're near the bottom of Division I football in terms of penalty yardage per game.
First and a long 15. Here's Grant with a line. Eye candy. Jakeem Grant turned on the burners, and he'll gain 19 yards.
And they're going to want to go quicker now after the huge play from Grant.
5'6", 160 pounds, Jakeem Grant, the sophomore from Mesquite. He's in the slot at the top of your screen. From the 34 of Oklahoma State. And they hand it off. DeAndre Washington with room. Washington first down. Stiff arm says, get off me. And a flag.
That flag came late near the sideline. Sometimes you get caught blocking downfield and grabbing onto someone. Let's see what they call. Watch the end of the run. There's Datejuan Lowe, number 8 in white, and he's got a full grasp of the face mask of Washington. So that should tack on additional yardage for Texas Tech and set them up in big spot down near the goal line. Last week, Oklahoma, right? Texas Tech, wasn't it 21-7 at one point? Oklahoma had all the momentum. Tech came back and took the lead. Something you pointed out not too long ago.
There were fouls by both teams. Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 8. That's penalized half the distance to the goal, and it's a first down. After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 9. That's a 15-yard penalty. It's first and 10.
And the offensive, the penalty against Texas Tech would be Sean Corker, a backup wide receiver. Must have happened at the end of the play. A little over-enthusiastic near the end of it.
So Tech has it at the 23. They've had gains of 15, 12, 19, and 18 on this drive. Washington in motion out of the backfield. Quarterback draw. Davis Webb. And he'll tiptoe out of bounds after about a 7.5-yard gain.
Gus, when I saw the motion of the running back out of the backfield, I thought to myself, quarterback draw, and you know what I said? No, Davis Webb doesn't run it like that. Yes, he does. Surprised me on that one.
As you take a look at the Tech numbers in the red zone. Here's the handoff, Washington. And he's close to a first down. Looks like he may have it. K-Twan Lowe with the tackle once again.
See how he finishes the run over the top of Daytwan Lowe, who was in a good position to make the tackle. But that finish by Washington got him the first down.
First down at the Cowboy 13. Another quarterback draw. This time, Davis Webb will lose yardage on the play. He'll lose about 2. Tyler Johnson sniffing it out.
See, last week, Oklahoma State had a few problems with Sam Richardson, the quarterback of Iowa State, and his ability to make quarterback runs, both in the option and in the quarterback draw game. So I'm sure Texas Tech put it in a little bit this week.
Watch Amaro in the slot at the bottom of your screen. He looks that way in the corner. Incomplete. Bradley Marquez overthrown on that play, and that brings up third down and long.
Good coverage by Tyler Patman, number 26, the transfer from Kansas, who got his degree from there and transferred to play his last season of football. A 3-year starter for the Jayhawks. He's been a huge addition to the secondary of Oklahoma State.
Third down, 12 at the 15. There's Amaro. Webb looks the other way. Complete. Flag. No. Eric Ward, the intended receiver. Justin Gilbert, who is a Sunday player, breaks it up.
Look at what they show. Everyone up. And then they fall back out of it into coverage. And Gilbert, accepting the challenge of one-on-one against Eric Ward, goes through him to knock the ball away.
So Ryan Buston comes in to attempt the field goal. He leads FBS in field goals made with 17. 1 field goal away from setting a new school record for field goals in a season. He's looking for number 18 from 32 yards away. And beautiful draw, and it's good. So with 1:33 to go in the first quarter, Tech finally gets on the board, trailing Oklahoma State 21-3. And now, meet your Fox Tuesday night starting lineup.
Seth Green, dance! Yeah!
Jake Johnson, New Girl.
Ike Barinholtz, the male nurse on The Mindy Project. Yeah. Terry Crews, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Terry Crews, he's got the body. He could play out here right now with these guys.
Hey, if he used to do it on a high level in the NFL, he could come back and do it right now. I mean, I wouldn't want to try and block him. Terry Crews or Carl Weathers in his prime. Wow. Imagine those two.
Oh, my goodness.
Both of them NFL players. Carl Weathers, a former Oakland Raider.
He looks like the Shazam guys. But I don't know if that's real, Charles. Are those real muscles?
Listen, not getting me into that one.
So Tech ready to kick it away. Justin Gilbert, Desmond rolling back deep. This one goes out of bounds. Wow. So Oklahoma State will have very solid field position to start this drive.
By the kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Those types of things, when you have momentum going your way, it's a real downer, isn't it? I mean, you know, everybody's feeling good, got the field goal, kind of had the settling drive, starting to get back into it. A little momentum, you kick it out of bounds. Doesn't make anyone happy.
Kramer Fife sending it out of play. Here comes Clint Chelf. Last 3 drives for Oklahoma State, all resulting in touchdowns. They'll start from their own 35. Rolling. And he moves straight ahead. Minimal gain on the play.
Tech will need more plays like that from Donnell Wesley, their nose guard, number 96, stacking up the line.
Chelf, the throw to the sideline. Nice throw and catch. And the first down. This one caught by Marcel Aitman, the freshman from Dallas. A 12-yard pickup. First down. Rolling. Bottled up. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. But I tell you what, Clint Chelf has really been slinging it around nicely.
Excellent accuracy and ball placement too. The touchdown pass to Moore on the fade could not have been thrown better. That last pass to Aitman, right on target. Aitman came back and got it, picked up the first down. He looks very comfortable in the early going.
Second down. 5 of 8, 99 yards for Chelf. Looking into the flats, and he has Jeremy Seaton, but he can't hang on to the football. Now remember, Chelf started the opener this year and started the most recent game against Iowa State.
And in the opener against Mississippi State, he only got 2 series before J.W. Walsh, right there, number 4, came in and replaced him. And our next sighting of Chelf was against TCU a couple of weeks ago.
Third down and 10 of the 48. Tech with a chance to get off the field. But the Cowboys have been able to make timely plays. Here's Chelf. Play action. Over the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Tracy Moore. And Oklahoma State will punt it away.
Really good push from the defensive front of Texas Tech to get into the face of Clint Chelf and not allow him to just step into a throw.
Kim Smith comes in to punt. He stands at the 33. Jordan Davis back deep. And it's blocked. Picked up. And down at midfield. Terrific job. Kerry Hyder just plucked it out of the air. And you can feel the momentum shifting a bit here in Lubbock.
Right up the middle again. And Hyder last week blocked a field goal attempt by Oklahoma. He goes right over the 3-man wall to get a mid on it. Watch Hyder. Look at 91. Gets his right hand on it and knocks it down. There's Matt Wallerstead, the defensive coordinator, showing the emotion he wants his players to play with. And Kerry Hyder gives them great field position for this drive. Looked like Micah Alway ended up grabbing it out of the air after the block.
First down at the 49. Davis Webb over the middle and caught. Beautifully done by Jordan Davis as he picks up the first down. And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. Looks like it. And it does. End of the first quarter, the score 21-3. But Texas Tech starting to catch fire.
Punts in the game, 1 for each team. Oklahoma State off to that tremendously fast start. Texas Tech trying to rein them in now. Let me finish with this, Gus. Remember that question I asked you about Texas Tech? Did you feel like they were pressing? Withdrawn. I think they're good. I think they're getting it back together now.
First down and 10 to the 38. For Davis Webb, the freshman. Screen underneath Eric Ward. Breaks the tackle, still running. Up the sideline. Turns on the juice. Touchdown! Raiders.
Another missed tackle at open field leads to a big play. Right there, Justin Gilbert has a chance to put the play down. Misses it, and Ward carries it all the way in. Texas Tech definitely back in there. And Jared Castor, the center, got out in front with a key block.
Extra point, good for Texas Tech. Just like that. They come back and score, but it started with the block punt by Kerry Hyder. And then Eric Ward pays it off big. 21-10. Texas Tech responds, scoring 10 points in 1 minute and 44 seconds. So, Texas Tech leading this season, one of the leaders rather, in 30-plus yard pass plays, 23. Baylor. Tell you what, they've got some receivers on that Baylor team that can naturally get it done.
They'll be on display Thursday night on Fox Sports 1 against Oklahoma.
This ball kicked out of the end zone. Let's go downstairs to Christina Pink.
Well, Gus, Red Raiders will be playing without Terrence Bullitt for now. He's gone back to the locker room. He came out, his hand was heavily taped up after he left the field. He thought it looked like he was going to play there for a minute with his hand heavily taped, but he was in a lot of pain, and you could see the discomfort and unhappiness on his face as the trainers took him back to the locker room. So for now, he's out with a hand injury.
All right, he's been plagued by a tender shoulder, which sent him to the sideline last week against Oklahoma.
And Austin Stewart, number 30, will come in to replace him. Austin Stewart started at safety last week against Oklahoma, back in his more natural position at the Raider or outside linebacker combination strong safety position.
First down to the 25 for Oklahoma State. And this time they'll find Josh Stewart, who winds up in the backfield. And a flag on the play. When I look at Josh Stewart, you know who he reminds me of when I look at him play?
Who's that?
Robert Woods.
Ooh, I like that one. Robert Woods, the USC All-American. He's playing quite well for the Buffalo Bills now. With his versatility, able to work in the slot outside.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 30. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
That is Austin Stewart, who's come in now to replace Terrence Bullitt. As Christina Pink outlined, Bullitt out of the game at the moment. Stewart now in, but I like your comparison with Robert Woods, because Robert Woods was a terrific kick returner also while he was at USC. The ability to move him all over the field to find the proper matchup, that's special in a receiver, and Stewart can also carry the football.
He lines up as a pistol back. And they'll give it to him running right, slashing right. And Stewart almost said Robert Woods with a nice gain of 6 there.
You know what that seemed like to me? That Mike Gundy and Mike Yursich, the offensive coordinator, got on the headsets together in between series and said, Josh Stewart hasn't touched it yet. He needs to touch the football. He's one of our dynamic playmakers.
Second down and 4 underneath. It's Stewart again and a first down. So they're moving him around. He's lined up in the slot. He's lined up out wide. He's lined up in the backfield.
Get that sense, Gus? Somebody said, hey, hold on a second. How come 5 hasn't touched it? Let's find ways to get him the football. He creates big plays when he has it in his hands.
Stewart again. Trying to get around the corner. Oh, he is lassoed and taken down. Nicely done by Aguavin, the middle linebacker.
It's a big play, too, because they had established a rhythm with Stewart and Aguavin trying to settle down that rhythm. Excellent open field tackle, pulling down the dangerous Stewart.
Second and 12 to the 42 of Texas Tech for Oklahoma State. Chelf to throw it. Under pressure. And caught on the far side. Wow. David Clint went up and brought it down.
And the offensive line protection allowed that play to happen. Clinton was supposed to be a decoy. They wanted to strike downfield. They took that away. He came back to Clinton on really a third look and got it to him.
Chelf, 6 of 11, 113 yards passing. Jeremy Smith in running the football now. Take another look at this 14-yard gain.
Look at him go up and high point it and bring it down. Glidden's a little guy, 5'7", 185, the Oklahoma High School Player of the Year when he came out.
Here's Chelf over the middle. And he throws another strike. Seals down to 5.
One jump pass complete to number 81.
A 24-yard pickup. I tell you what, for a guy that threw for less than 80 yards last week, Clint Chelf looks like he's accustomed to throwing for 300. They hand it off. Smith.
He looks much more like the Clint Chelf that finished the 2012 season. He was the 3rd quarterback to start last year. Finished last year with over 1,000 yards passing, over 1,500 yards passing, and looked that sharp down the stretch. He's back to that form tonight.
Desmond Rowland checks back in at running back for Oklahoma State. And they'll give it to him. Trying to push forward. Brings up 2nd and goal at the 3. Make that 3rd and goal at the 1.
And the offensive line coach of Oklahoma State, Joe Wickline, one of the best in the business. You know what he's told his guys? If we run the ball down here, we should score first as an offensive line, meaning you get the push on the defensive front to allow the running back to score 2nd behind you.
3rd down and goal at the 1-yard line. Rowland, can he get in? No! Denied. Kerry Hyder. Not on my side, buddy.
And remember, I said they have to score first. That means they have to get push. They didn't get push on that play. Texas Tech's defensive front handled them up front, and Kerry Hyder makes the initial contact.
So Oklahoma State's offense still on the field. Looks like they may go for it on 4th down and goal.
They may take it all the way down and take a timeout and discuss it at this point.
And the Cowboys allowing the clock to run out.
Game tonight against Miami. A.J. McCarron from Alabama doesn't get mentioned as he should be. Guy has a chance to win his 3rd straight national championship. And Teddy Bridgewater has played so well. Don't let the upset loss against UCF take you off task. He can play.
So Oklahoma State will go for it on 4th down and goal at the 1. 11th play of the drive. Rolling the deep man. Play fake. Chelf rolling out. Throws. Touchdown. Jeremy Seaton, the backup fullback, grabs it in the end zone. And the Cowboys take a 27-10 lead.
Now watch where Seaton lines up right here. There's Kai Staley. So they got both fullbacks on the field at the same time. Staley blocks, Seaton runs a route, and it's a nice one. Clears himself away from the coverage in the end zone. Derek Mays, number 4, and Chelf puts it right on the money.
2nd touchdown pass of the game for Clint Chelf. And here's Greg for the extra point, which is good. So you talked about Mike Gundy, a happy man when he gets good quarterback play. Well, I get the feeling that with 10:22 to go, Coach Gundy's feeling all right. Has done a terrific job in his 9th year, redirecting this Oklahoma State program. We'll tell you about some of his accomplishments in a moment. And this ball will be brought out by Jakeem Grant. And Grant gets to the 17. Now let's go to Patrick O'Neal for a game break.
Hey, Gus, this should pique the interest of your partner, Charles Davis. Missouri hosted Tennessee. How would Mizzou bounce back from that tough loss to South Carolina? Well, pretty easy there. Maddie Mock to Dorial Green Beckham caps off a 14-play drive for the touchdown. And Mizzou is threatening again, but right now 7-0 in the 2nd. Gus and Charles?
All right, thank you very much.
How exactly does that pique my interest when Missouri's leading? I got to talk to Patrick about that later.
1st down to 10 at the 17. Then handing the ball off to Washington. And Washington almost broke free. Picks up a 1st down. Gets to the 32, a 16-yard gain.
And that was just determined running by DeAndre Washington, able to break through like that, running through an attempted tackle by Tyler Batman.
1st down to the 33. Webb. Allen thrown too high for Bradley Marquez.
One thing about the Oklahoma State secondary, they wear T-shirts that says, no fly zone. What flies, dies. They like to make plays on the football. They've become better at that over time. This is their best performance in the last few seasons.
Webb to the sideline, and this time it's Amaro who picks up another 1st down. Jace Amaro, the leading receiver among tight ends in the nation, projected as a 1st or 2nd round NFL draft pick. 5 catches, 85 yards. And a handoff to Jakeem Grant. Gets back to the line of scrimmage and gets a little bit more. He'll pick up 5 yards on the play. And Shamil Gary brings him down. Second down. Davis-Webb. Soft toss. Jakeem Grant. And Jakeem Grant stumbling forward. Ofa Hautau managed to trip him up. And he'll trot off the field after the 3-yard pickup. So 3rd down 3. Texas Tech 0 for 5 on 3rd down conversions. Davis-Webb. Is it a catch? Yes, it is. Amaro picks up the 1st down. Nicely done by the junior from San Antonio. MacArthur High School. A 7-yard gain. First 3rd down conversion of the evening for Tech. Here's a quick strike. Amaro again. Davis-Webb, he's 18 years old, Charles, but he's smart. He's keeping the big fella's hands full.
And he does that very well, understanding that Amaro creates mismatches even when he appears to be covered. With his size and catch radius, he's not always covered. Maybe it's one person, maybe it's 2. Put it out there and give him an opportunity.
This time to go to Ward. He'll spin and pick up a 1st. At the Oklahoma State 30.
And one other thing about Davis-Webb that I really like is that it'd be easy for a young quarterback to get locked in on a security blanket such as Amaro. But what have we seen in the 2 games we've seen him play? The ball gets spread around. Everyone gets catches. He doesn't just lock in on one guy and stay there.
And again, underneath and bobbled and dropped. Jakeem Grant. Ball was thrown behind him, but it was catchable. So that'll make it 2nd and 10.
Let's see if someone got a hand on it and altered it at all.
Yes.
Yes, that did happen. That's number 99, Calvin Barnett. Just knocking it off light.
10th play of the drive that started at the Texas Tech 17. 2nd and 10.
Ball start. Offense, number 22. 5-yard penalty. It's 2nd down.
And that's Amaro. So Amaro has fumbled. False start penalty as well. He has 7 catches for 95 yards. 2nd and 15 to the 35. Play fake. Well, he put some hot sauce on that. Finding Jason Amaro. We told you folks he's got a whip. NFL caliber arm according to his head coach, Cliff Kingsbury.
No one more eager to atone for mistakes than Jason Amaro. And it's amazing how a 260-pound guy consistently finds himself open. You would think they'd have 3 white shirts around him on every play. But Jason Amaro finds holes in the defense.
3rd down and 6. Well, Amaro again. And a 1st down. A steady diet.
Out route, and as you talked about, the arm strength of Davis-Webb evident on this drive as he just puts it right on Amaro before he goes over the sideline.
8 catches, and Amaro's now going over 100 yards. 1st down. And they'll give it up to Davis. Davis fumbled! But Texas Tech lucky on that play because James Polk was Johnny on the spot. The big fella just gobbled that one up.
See where it gets stripped. Sean Lewis tried. It wasn't him. Looked like number 30. Was that 30 I saw him there knocking it free? 38? Might have been Ogbah.
2nd down and 11 to the 20. 4 receivers on the far side. Webb looks that way. Picked off. Lewis. And Sean Lewis, if it flies, it dies. And it died right there.
Watch how Sean Lewis plays this. Watch him just read the quarterback. He's going to work inside when Webb's there. Then when Webb moves his eyes back the other way, he works his way back into the path of the receiver and picks it off.
Cowboys take over at their own 18. 1st and 10. And a false start called against Oklahoma State.
False start. Offense number 67. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
That's Brandon Garrett, who's starting at left tackle. Parker Graham has moved over to right guard.
And they moved in Garrett last week to help solidify the offensive line. A lot of shifts, guys playing multiple positions. And Garrett in over at the right tackle position has helped them out in a big way.
1st down and 15. The handoff to Rowland. And Rowland roughed up by Will Smith. I'll tell you what, though, for Oklahoma State, they've had success in Texas. They've won 9 of their last 10 games in the state of Texas. The only loss was a 41-34 decision at Baylor in 2012. And perhaps not surprisingly, the Cowboys have more Texans on their roster than any program outside the Lone Star State. OU is second with 43.
Oklahoma State has 71 kids on the roster from the great state of Texas.
Chelf. Picked off. They return the favor. Down the sideline. Touchdown. Pete Robertson. Wow.
Not going to be an easier interception. Watch Robertson drop into coverage and gets underneath the route. And frankly, if he didn't pick it off, the corner there, Bruce Jones, was in position to do the exact same thing. There was really no place for that football to go. And the pick happens for 6.
Prior to that interception, Chelf with a flawless performance. Extra point, good. 5:17 to play. Things starting to heat up in the Panhandle. Chelf throws one away. Coach Kingsbury says, I'll take it.
Which is a combination outside linebacker, strong safety. On that play, the strong safety side of him one out. Dropping into coverage, picks it off, runs it in. Texas Tech, renewed hope.
This one kicked deep into the end zone. Cowboys will start from the 25. Let's quickly go to Rob Stone in Los Angeles.
Coming up on the Pizza Hut halftime show, a Big Ten Hail Mary to challenge some of the all-time great finishes. Some SEC bad blood spills in Jacksonville, and the Buckeyes make back-to-back BCS statements. All that at the break.
All right, world's largest cocktail party going on in Jacksonville.
They had so many guys hurt that one of the local papers billed it the world's largest pity party because they had so many guys hurt from both teams. I know Georgia jumped out early on Florida. I haven't seen how it turned out.
1st down and 10 to the 25. Rolling. Trying to get downhill. Lowers his shoulder, crosses the 30 up to the 32.
I like him as a runner. You know what I like about him is that he takes what is there and then gets a little bit more by being physical at the end of runs. Whatever's blocked, he gets that amount of yardage and then a little extra on his own.
2nd down, rolling again. This time they make him shuffle his feet and he'll barely get back to the line of scrimmage. Jackson Richards, the junior from Southlake, Texas, Carroll High School, making the tackle. And that makes it 3rd down and 4. Blood in the water now for Texas Tech. They know if they get this ball back, they've got plenty of time to score and make this an even closer game heading into the break. Chelf winds up and broken up. Great job by Trey Porter. He went up high, comes down dinged up, but Texas Tech will get the football back.
And I think his staff's going to say, what's your read? Because watch what he throws into. A guy underneath, and then there's a safety over the top. So you got the linebacker underneath, the safety over the top. He throws right into double coverage, and it's fortunate the ball's just knocked down.
Gibb Smith to punt, his last punt block. Gets this one away. Davis lets it take a bounce, and it bounces backwards and out of play. A 32-yard punt. Let's recap this game for you.
Well, early on, it was all Oklahoma State. Offense and defense. Dajuan Lowe causes a fumble with Jason Morrow. Turned into points, but then Texas Tech started to work their way back. Kerry Hyder with a block punt. Eric Ward with a touchdown. Oklahoma State comes back again. Clint Chelf to Jeremy Seaton for a touchdown. And then Pete Robertson with the interception. Tech continues to cut into the lead. 28-17 now. And Texas Tech has the ball.
First down and 10 at the 37 for Davis Webb. They're pumping. Goes up the sideline. And a flag. Marquez, the intended receiver. Tyler Patman will be called for interference.
Did not.
Pass interference. Defense, number 26. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
See, you can do that and never look back at the quarterback, and it's legal. But you know what's not legal is getting into the receiver before the ball gets there. That's what the call is. Everyone thinks it's a face guarding call. There's really no such thing. The key is don't get into the receiver before the ball gets there, and that's why they called it on Patman. It helps if you turn your head around and look like you're playing the ball. That takes the effect away from the official thinking that you're not playing the ball at all.
So first down. This is Washington running. And DeAndre Washington will pick up a couple.
Yeah, if he gets his head around, it's probably a play that maybe he gets away with. If you never turn around, no chance on that one.
Second down and 8 at the 46.
False start. Offense, number 4. 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
This happens way too often for Cliff Kingsbury's liking. They've played through these penalties for most of the year. But when you get into tight games against really good opponents, that's when those sort of penalties show up, because they're the ones that set you back and make it longer yardage.
Second down and 13. Amaro's in the slot at the top of your screen. Here's Webb. Looking the other way. Broken up.
Jakeem Grant. Wow. What a play. Zach Craig did everything correctly except come up with the football. And actually, I'm not sure Craig got. I think it bounced off of Grant, and then he pulled it in himself. I thought on the initial view that Zach Craig got a hand on the football, but I think he got his hand past Grant. It bounced off of Grant once, and then he hauled it in. Let's see if my eyes told me the right story. Did that appear to bounce off of his own helmet and then come down into his waiting arms? The hand went by. I'm not sure the hand touched it. Jakeem Grant with his own one-man tip drill before he's taken over the sideline by Shamil Garrett. .56", 160. Not supposed to be able to make a play like that in the land of trees. All right, so help me out. Was that off of Zach Craig, or was that off of Jakeem Grant?
I think that was off of Craig.
So Craig got it
off
first.
his arm.
Well, how about the concentration, able to come down with it before Gary knocked him over the sideline?
Nevertheless, it's a gain of 28 yards for Jakeem Grant.
What did Coach Kingsbury tell us about Jakeem Grant? 5'6", 160, arrived on campus 141 pounds. What did he say?
Nobody messes with Jakeem. They're all afraid of him.
The whole team.
First down and 10 at the 23. Last week against Oklahoma, he had 185 all-purpose yards. 8 catches for 99 yards. And a timeout? No. That's a signal by Davis Webb. Empty backfield. Webb underneath. Amaro dragged down. But he'll gain yardage on the play. That's a 6-yard pickup. Career high 10 catches for Jace tonight. And we're still in the first half.
Second charge timeout, Oklahoma State. 30 seconds.
All right, with the timeout called by Oklahoma State, let's go to Los Angeles for a game break.
Let's go to Tallahassee for one of the great rivalries in college football. Miami at Florida State, 7-3. Well, famous Jameis Winston got the Seminoles down there. Devontae Freeman, 5 yards. He cashes it in. 7-0 FSU over Miami early in the fourth quarter. Gus and Charles.
All right, Miami may have been caught looking forward last week against Wake Forest. Had to come back and beat them.
And they got their attention now because Florida State jumped right on them. What a game, and it's nice to have that rivalry back in the national scene.
2nd down and 4 now, the 17-yard line of Oklahoma State for Davis Webb and the Red Raiders. Here's Webb, slings it out. Washington gets to the edge, and up in it inside the 5. Ashton Lumpkin with the tackle. Great touch, though, by Davis Webb, and terrific running by DeAndre Washington, and that's a 14-yard gain.
All the downfield throws cleared them to throw the swing out of the backfield, and Washington paid it off.
1st down and goal at the 3. The handoff, and a flag.
Another one?
Prior to the snap, full start, offense number 63, 5-yard penalty. It's 1st down.
It's James Polk.
And it keeps getting spread around, doesn't it? It's not one guy consistently, but it's the same call. Getting the false start, not getting themselves set and getting motion. Let's see if they can overcome this one. They've gone with a heavier lineup. Omar Ontiveros, 33 on the field as an extra fullback outside the wing of Jason Morrow to the right side.
2nd false start this drive for Tech. Here's Webb. Incomplete. Intended for Ward, no flag. Datewan low defensively.
Big reaction from the crowd. Naturally, the home team wants to see a flag thrown. Officials kept it in their pocket after the tight coverage by Lowe. Let's take a look. Left side of your screen is where it's going to occur. Lowe in the end zone working, goes to the over the top.
Number 8.
Wow.
The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic 1st down.
The flag came late, folks.
It did, because I never saw it hit
And
the
I didn't
ground.
see it either.
I think it's justified by the way Lowe played over the top. Looked like he had a hand on the body of the receiver and was grabbing him in the back. Yes,
It's now
draped on
reporting
him.
it's number 93.
So that would be Trey Keenan, a backup offensive lineman wearing an eligible number.
1st and goal at the 2. Here's a handoff. Touchdown, Tech. Kenny Williams. And after being down 21-0, 2 minutes to play in the 1st half, Texas Tech with a chance to cut it to 4.
Left side of the line, and then a really nice finish by Kenny Williams. And Cliff Kingsbury told our Christina Pink that he has a very resilient team. And they're showing it again this evening, coming from down at 21 early in this game.
Ryan busted in to attempt the extra point to make this a 4-point game. And he does. 2 minutes to play. Flag, though.
Offside. Defense, number 58. The penalty is declined. The extra point is good.
28-24 our score. As we take a look at our Facebook poll, and we asked our Facebook fans which team is the best chance to remain undefeated. And here's how they responded.
And you look at it, the usual suspects, of course, Alabama, Oregon, Ohio State, Florida State. But look who's missing. If you're an Oklahoma fan, you're probably heartened by this poll because Baylor is not on there. They play Thursday night, Fox Sports 1. Make sure you tune in. It's going to be a heck of a football game. But Baylor has a chance to continue undefeated, and they are in national championship talk. That game, the implications are huge. I can't believe Baylor's not on that poll. they still have that opportunity. But if you're an Oklahoma fan, you like what that poll says.
And in my opinion, the team that will go undefeated, guaranteed, is Ohio State.
You like their schedule, don't you?
I do like their schedule. Bama plays LSU next week. And the Cowboys will start from the 25. Let's take a look at the last time Tech beat OK State, 2008. Graham Harrell passed for 456 and 6 TDs. Michael Crabtree caught 3 TDs. And the Red Raiders offense combined for 629 yards and 8 touchdowns on 10 drives.
And that was a real mature victory, too, because if I'm not mistaken, Texas Tech beat Texas the week before when Texas was #1. And to bounce back in a game like that, not get caught looking ahead to the rest of your schedule and put together that kind of a game, very mature win for that team that only lost 1 regular season game that season.
So Chelf will start from his own 25. On first down, ready to throw it to the sideline. Nice toss. And a first down for the Cowboys as Charlie Moore hauls it in.
Yeah, like how Chelf bounced back and put that on a rope. His last couple of passes have been a little bit on the shaky side, but not that one.
He'll throw it again under pressure, and it's complete. And it's Stewart who gets about 7 on the play. Josh Stewart stopped by Austin Stewart.
And you notice the Oklahoma State staff not tucking their horns in at all. Not daunted by the last couple of possessions, still pressing it.
Now Chelf decides to run it, and he slides forward and gets to midfield. Oklahoma State with 1 timeout left. First down and 10 at the 49. Chelf, far side, Stewart, gobbled up and driven backwards. Great job by Keenan Ward, the freshman from Snyder, Texas.
Earlier in the game, we were watching him chase the receiver almost into the end zone on the flea flicker.
State, 30 seconds.
Oklahoma State calls their final timeout, a 30-second timeout, with 1:11 to play in the first half. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Rob Stone and the guys will be in the studio for the Pizza Hut halftime show. Joel Klatt, Heisman Trophy winner Eddie George.
Got to figure Eddie likes watching the way Oklahoma State was running the ball early in the game. As a big-time runner, Heisman Trophy winner. Our quarterback, Joel Klatt, I'm sure he'll have a few things to say about what he's seen in the first half from the freshman Davis Webb and Clint Chelf, who got off to such a terrific start and has struggled lately at trying to put together a big drive before the half.
Second down and 11. Chelf over the middle and caught by Tracy Moore. He'll get out of bounds with a first down at the 40-yard line of Tech. And the Cowboys marching it down the field with relative ease.
Still waiting to see a big play from Josh Stewart.
Here's Chelf all day to throw it and delivers, but incomplete. Stewart, the intended receiver.
Clint Chelf's pass intended for number 5, Josh Stewart. Incompletion brings up 2nd down and 10 on the 40-yard line.
2nd down and 10, under a minute to go. Rennie Childs, the freshman, in the backfield. With motion. Chelf looking for Childs, and he overthrows it. So Ben Grogan warming up, 7 of 13, and he's been a little shaky this year, but Mike Gundy has remained loyal. They rise to their feet here in Lubbock. 3rd down and 10. Here comes a blitz. Chelf gets it away. Incomplete. And no flags. Charlie Moore, the targeted receiver.
Bruce Jones pinned him to the sideline. Watch the top of your screen. Number 24 in black. I don't think you could play this any better as a corner. Pins him to the sideline and gives him nowhere to go to come back and get the football.
So with 53 seconds remaining, make it 48 seconds remaining. Fourth punt of the game for Oklahoma State. Jordan Davis back deep. Tech with 2 timeouts to go. Davis allows it to take a bounce and goes into the end zone for a touchback.
And now with this space, 41 seconds to go. What is Cliff Kingsbury's favorite motto? 2 timeouts, right? They got that? What is that? Fortune favors the bold? I'd be surprised to see them go ahead and take a knee at this point. Look at him talking to his quarterback. Get the sense he's saying, let's go get it.
And he's got a freshman that has the arm to do it. And Davis Webb. Webb in the first half, 22 of 34, 257 yards, a touchdown, and an interception.
Now, conventional wisdom in this situation says draw or screen on your first play and see what you get. I think Tech just tries to push it downfield.
Low snap, Webb picks it up, and he finds Williams. Flag on the play.
Davis passes to number 34, Kenny Williams. Flag on the play.
And Webb signals that it's against the Cowboys.
Should be. I think they may have defensive holding in the secondary against Jason Morrow. Looked like Lindell Johnson, number 27, may have grabbed it.
Holding. Defense, number 27. It's a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. And the result is a first down.
Right here is Amaro trying to run his route. Lindell Johnson, we talked about him earlier in the game, a former linebacker, dropped about 15 pounds to go play safety, and has been locked up with Jason Amaro all night. It's been a tough matchup. He's won a couple, but Amaro is a difficult matchup, and he's won the bulk of them this evening.
So they move it up to the 30, first down and 10. Another low snap. And Webb trying to get out of dodge. And did he fumble the football? The officials are signaling that he's down.
On the field is the ball carrier's forward progress had ended. It's second down.
The whistles were definite. You heard them blowing. So you heard them blowing. So they're saying, yep, forward progress as he was stripped. So that's called on the field. That's not reviewable. Texas Tech keeps the football.
So Tech calls a timeout. They have 1 left.
The low snaps. Jared Casker, 2 low snaps on this drive have hurt them. Mike Gundy. The whistle came after the strip, but that doesn't mean they weren't running in, waving their arms, and the play was down. They may have already started to signal, and then the whistles came in, but they were very definite that they had said progress had been stopped.
Second down and 7 at the 33. 20 seconds to go. Davis Webb to the sideline. And he finds Akeem Grant, who gets out of bounds at the 45.
In order to try and get any points in this drive, this has got to be a pretty good strike here. They've got to push it downfield and get a timeout or get it out of bounds to have a shot at points.
Webb. Here's a screen. Williams has blockers. And Williams to the 42. Remember, Tech has to get to the OSU 33 because the career long for Ryan Busted is 50 yards against Texas State in 2012. And now Texas Tech out of timeouts.
How about both of these teams? Neither one of them conceding anything. No one taking a knee, trying to run the clock out. Both of them. You likened this to a fight in the beginning, Gus. So both of them threw haymakers down the stretch, didn't they?
Yes.
They're throwing the bombs at each other. Mike Gundy's still upset about the call. He did get satisfaction out of the first official. Did you notice how stone-faced he was? Went to the second one.
So what do you run right now with 6 seconds to go, no timeouts if you're Texas Tech? Do you go for it?
You have to, because you're out of timeouts. I say you've got to take the shot all the way downfield.
Here's Webb. He will take a shot. Winds up in the end zone. And incomplete. Punched out. And that's the end of the first half with the score. Oklahoma State 28, Texas Tech 24. The Red Raiders coming all the way back after being down 21-0. Now we send you to the beach.
Off turnovers even at 7 each. Third down conversions. At one point, Oklahoma State was 3 of 5 on third down. Finished up 3 of 8. Texas Tech gaining momentum as the half went on.
But what a game. 21-0 with 4:09 to go in the first quarter. Oklahoma State with the lead, and Texas Tech behind Davis Webb marches all the way back. Defense also came up and made some plays.
And at 21-0, you said, don't forget this Texas Tech team can score in bunches, and that's exactly what they did. So we take a look at the recap of what happened in the first half. Oklahoma State, well, at one point, as you mentioned, 21-0, that gave them 28. That touchdown pass from Clint Chelf to Jeremy Seaton, but the interception by Pete Robertson, the outside linebacker, strong safety type, a pick 6. And then another touchdown on the running play. As he gets in, Kenny Williams gets into the end zone. And now, here are the second half strategies brought to you by Valvoline. 140 years under the hood for Oklahoma State. Back to basics. Run the football. Make third down, third and manageable, not third and long. Texas Tech, keep pressing. Doing what you're doing from the time you were down 21 on. I wondered if they were pressing with some tenseness, but now they're just pressing with confidence.
So Texas Tech will kick it away to start the second half. Clint Chelf ready to come back in. And this one will not be brought out. Cowboys will start from the 25. Let's go downstairs to Pink.
Thanks, Gus. Well, the Cowboys have the lead, but Texas Tech certainly stealing some of the momentum. Jason Morrow had 10 catches for 108 yards. When I talked to Cliff Kingsbury, he said, when a guy's hot like that, you just got to keep feeding him the football. He said, we've got to get the ball to him more. We moved the ball pretty well there in that first half. Terrence Bullitt will also try to play here with a cast on his right hand. Mike Gundy told me defensively he wants to see some pressure on Davis Webb and establish a run here to start the second half, Gus.
So Clint Chelf will start from the 25, 14 of 24, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception in the first half. Desmond Rowland leans forward, gains 2 yards as we take a look. Last week against Iowa State, Chelf 78 yards. What a bounce back performance in the first half.
One point he was really perking. As the half went on, Tech's defense started to have a little more influence on him. Let's see if he runs the ball a little bit more. He ran for 85 yards last week. Hasn't run it much in the game today.
Chelf throwing near side and caught by Seals. Juwan Seals stopped by Derek Mays after a 10-yard pickup and a first down for the Cowboys.
Rowland will continue to be the primary ball carrier for Oklahoma State, number 26. I want to see if they use that zone read and let Chelf pull it a few times to try and take some of the pressure off of Rowland.
Ball deflected, incomplete. Somebody got a hand on it. Stewart, the intended receiver.
Looked like Sam McQuavin, the inside linebacker, I believe, who drifts into coverage right there. Gets his hand on it and makes it tough. Is that 13? Yes, it looks like McQuavin, the inside linebacker, helping deflect it away.
2nd and 10.
Desmond Hope.
Trey Porter finally chopping him down after an 8-yard gain. Third and 2. Chelf swings it out. Stewart. Oh! And he won't get there. Terrific defense play by Bruce Jones.
How about Mighty Mouse coming up and making this play at 5'7", 180. Chopping him down before the first down marker and forcing the punting unit onto the field on the first drive of the second half.
So Jordan Davis is back deep. Kip Smith stands at his own 30. He's had one blocked this evening by Kerry Hyder. No pressure. Gets this one away. A wobbly kick. And it takes an Oklahoma State bounce. Out of bounds inside the 15. So the Oklahoma State offense sputters on their opening drive of the second half. Let's see how the defense fared against a few assembled in the USA. Welcome back to Jones AT&T Stadium as we take a look at your offensive leaders.
Davis Webb having another big night as a freshman. DeAndre Washington running strong in this game. And Jason Morrow, no answers at all for him really in the first half for Oklahoma State.
First down at the 12-yard line. Davis Webb on the play-action fake. Lobs one up. Incomplete. Bradley Marquez, the intended receiver. Now, Oklahoma State in the third quarter has allowed just 10 third-quarter points this year. Second fewest in FBS to Georgia Tech's 7. Let's see what Tech can do against them in this period.
Let's see if number 11, Sean Lewis, starts to move more towards Jason Morrow, covering him in the second half.
Good strike. And it's Reginald Davis. Wrestled out of play by Tyler Patman.
They've got to try something, don't they? Lindell Johnson has tried it his best in the first half. He had one knockaway on a third down pass that I remember. But for the most part, Jason Morrow having his way in the secondary. Something has to happen for Oklahoma State to try and slow him down.
Third down at 6 at the 16. Davis West floats it over the middle again, complete. Jakeem Grant was open. Grant, I don't know, Charles, looked like he took a weird angle to the football.
I wonder if he got altered on his route, got knocked off of it early, and the timing just didn't sync up because they had another strike downfield, because if that's completed, Grant's still running.
So Ryan Ertzleben will punt it inside his own 5. He's had one blocked today. Stewart with a lane, watch out! Josh Stewart still on his feet, cuts it inside, he's down at the 10. Kenny Williams with the saving tackle, a 41-yard punt and a 47-yard return.
Look at this. Let's see the blocking form up for him. The 95-yard against TCU, he had some terrific blocks. And look at him, they're all blocked up, but watch him make the first guy miss right there. No chance at all. Then he gets a block downfield. The block downfield came from number 46, Derek Branson, who blocked the punt earlier in the game.
So Oklahoma State will set up at the Texas Tech 11. First down for Clint Chelf. Hands it off to Rowland. And Desmond Rowland gets inside the 5. Will Smith stops it. Desmond Rowland, terrific. Running the ball inside the tackles. Fifth red zone possession tonight for the Cowboys. They've scored 4 touchdowns. Second down and 4 at the 5. They can get a first down still. Rowland running around the right side now. And Kerry Hyder jumps on his back and brings him down.
Prime territory here. If they want to run the same type of a look and go zone read, for Clint Chelf to pull it himself and keep it as the quarterback. See if they go in that direction.
Third down, 2 at the 3. Rolling. And he will not pick up the first down. Will Smith again, along with Trey Porter.
It turned into a one-on-one tackle. And the winner, Texas Tech, really became two-on-one. Smith and Trey Porter put him down.
So Oklahoma State thinking about it. Mike Gundy, he knows he needs big points the way Tech can score the football.
Last time they let the clock tick down, then call timeout. This time it appears they're going to go right here.
4th down and 1 at the 2. Rolling. First down, touchdown. Third touchdown tonight for Desmond Rolling. And he gives Oklahoma State a 34-24 lead.
What happens to you earlier has an effect on you later, right? What happened earlier on 4th and 1? They threw the football in that situation, threw the touchdown pass to Jeremy Seaton. This time they widened everyone out, gave the appearance of maybe throwing the ball, ran it inside behind good blocking, and a lead fullback for a touchdown.
Desmond Rolling with 7 touchdowns in 2 weeks, 3 today against Texas Tech. And the extra point is good. Under 10 to play, 3rd quarter. Oklahoma State, first team to score in the second half. They have a 35-24 lead.
Forget the last one, move on to the next one. Desmond Sr. making sure he keeps his kid grounded, and the kid's listening.
Cowboys send it away. This was picked up at the 6-yard line by Jakeem Grant. He throws it across the field for Marquez. Flag on the play. Doesn't fool Oklahoma State, though. And we saw some creativity last week from Texas Tech against Oklahoma on special teams.
They took chances and did a number of things to try and get up on Oklahoma. But how about this play? Dion Amadi makes a nice play in staying out there and then picks up the penalty against him when they try to block him.
There is no foul for a block in the back. 1st and 10.
Well, look at the throw.
Look at that. Marquez trying to hide in the end zone like he wasn't there, and then catches the throw at the end. Was that Jakeem Grant showing off his pitching arm?
He certainly did.
He was slinging it.
First down and 10 at the 22. And the handoff, DeAndre Washington. And he's just taken backwards. Stout defense by Anthony Rogers, a senior from North Little Rock, Arkansas.
Just rounding back into form. Missed a number of games with an injury earlier this season. Had a torn ACL earlier. Made his way back.
1-yard gain, 2nd and 9. Red's going to have to let it fly. Empty backfield. Far side. Nice catch. This time it's Jordan Davis.
And this week's pass complete to number 85, Jordan
Zach
Davis.
Craig hauls him down. And he will pick up 5. Makes it 3rd and 4 at the 28.
Brings us a 3rd down and 5 for ball on the 27-yard line.
Steps up in the pocket. And the ball deflected. Guess who? Sean Lewis. The ubiquitous Sean Lewis.
He's just a playmaker. Look at him in the middle here. There's Lewis. Watch him read and react. Gets right into the path and knocks it away. Cliff Kingsbury sees an opportunity go awry. And I think that Jared Castor, the center, needs to continue to work on the sidelines and getting those snaps up a little bit, Gus. Timing's been chipped away by a few low snaps as this game has gone on in the shotgun formation.
Josh Stewart, a backpedal. Remember, his last return was 47 yards. He starts inside the 15, gets up the sideline, and makes chicken salad. Gets up to the 33. 8:36 to play.
E.J. Holub, who played for the Kansas City Chiefs. Dave Parks, the great tight end in the NFL as well. Donnie Anderson's the reason I became a Green Bay Packers fan, Gus. A left-footed punter. I was fascinated by watching him play.
1st and 10 at the 32. And Jeremy Smith in the game now. And you feel for Jeremy Smith.
You do, because frankly, his game is probably not suited to being a lead runner. Jeremy Smith is a short yardage, goal line type of a runner. One cut and go, as evidenced by his touchdown totals over the years. I think 33 in his career. As far as being a lead guy, that might not be his forte. He's more of a finisher near the goal line.
2nd and 9 at the 33. Chelf. Oh, and he's hit as he throws it. That ball almost picked off. Brandon Jackson gobbled him up.
Watch the backside of Clint Chelf. Brandon Jackson, normally a hand in the ground defensive end. He ends up beating Daniel Koenig from the backside and puts him down and helps make the pass incomplete.
So on 3rd and 9, they stand up here in Lubbock, Texas. Chelf 2 of 10 on 3rd down conversions. Quarterback draw. He's got running room and a first down. Watch out! Clint Chelf, he's got get away from the top speed. Touchdown! 67 yards. To 24. Extra point good. 7:50 to play, 3rd quarter. Oklahoma State using the legs of their can really pick them up and put them down.
And they called him in man coverage, and right there, Parker Graham, the guard, moves him. Now you're in man coverage here, which leaves all this open for Clint Chelf. It started with an empty set, and then look at the speed. Trey Porter underestimated his speed, took a bad angle, and Chelf galloped past him and left everyone in his wake. Great call because they had him by formation. Empty set, man coverage, and got the block from Parker Graham, and bye-bye, said Clint Chelf.
67 yards. Graham mishandling it, and he'll take a knee in the end zone. So let's go to Patrick O'Neal in Los Angeles for Lowe's Never Stop Improving Game Break.
And it's the Sunshine State Showdown. 2 top 10 teams, Miami, Florida State, Seminoles with a beautiful play here. Jameis Winston dumps it off to Devontae Freeman. He's got a blocker. He goes 48 yards. Winston's 24th touchdown pass on the season. Odds makers have Florida State as big favorites, and they're leading 21-7, almost at the half, Dustin Charles.
Tell you what, Florida State can strike from so many different angles. Running backs, they have 3 of them who can play. Wide receivers, seems like they have 20.
Meanwhile, near side, Davis Webb finding Eric Ward. Texas Tech with major work in front of them now, down 42-24.
Seen them climb before.
2nd and 2 at the 33. They dump it off to Jordan Davis. And Davis picks up the first down.
Eric Ward makes the catch on 1st down, comes back on 2nd down, and makes the key block to pick up a 1st down for his teammate.
1st down. Webb. Picked off right into the hands of Caleb Levy. 2nd interception of the night for Davis Webb.
We talked about Levy a little bit in the 1st half. Watch his positioning here. All he does is move from the inside position, sees the cut because he reads the pattern. He let Amaro go, and he reads the pattern inside, and the receiver sits down where he thinks Davis Webb is going to throw it. He doesn't continue his route all the way across. Webb thinks he's going to come here. Watch where he sits down. Instead, Caleb Levy becomes the receiver. But it was a good defensive play by Levy. He let Amaro go, passed him on to the next coverage, and caught the crosser across the middle.
Third interception of the season.
Throwing on the field of an interception is under further review.
So we have to take a look and see if Levy possessed it all the way to the ground, which is, I believe, is what they're probably reviewing. He catches it. Does he take it to the ground okay? I believe so. I hope this will be a very quick review. There's the catch, goes to the ground. He's got the arm, he's got the paw underneath it. All right, we say we call that square and move on.
3 turnovers for Texas Tech. Second week in a row, they've turned it over 3 times.
After further review, the ruling on the field of an interception is confirmed. 1st and 10.
Nicely done. But Caleb Levy called him underrated in the first half. He's showing why. There's Davis Webb. Now, did his receiver cross him up by not continuing across the field? Or did he make the wrong read and forget that his receiver would sit down in the open zone? That was number 85, Jordan Davis. They'll work that out in film session.
First down and 10 at the 39. And the handoff to Desmond Rowland. And Rowland is still on his feet, legs churning. And that's a gain of 6.
You know, going into last week's game, Desmond Rowland had 36 carries for the season. These last 2 games, he's well beyond that number.
Chelf, the throw. Backside pressure, gets it off. And one thing about Clint Chelf tonight, he's had great pocket awareness.
He has, and he needed it because the coverage downfield was solid. It's the second time they tried the flea flicker. The first half worked quite well. This time, Texas Tech was well aware of it and had to play diagnosed. But as you noted, good presence by Chelf to feel the pressure and throw it away before he took the sack from Brandon Jackson.
3rd down and 4. 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen. Chelf. And intercepted. Watch out. Down at the 45. Chelf winds up with the football, but Keenan Ward looks like he grabbed it.
They're having a heavy discussion about it now, but the key to me is what is he seeing when he throws the football? Ward jumps right into the path and really looks like the intended receiver. And then the tackle by Chelf, they go to the turf. He ends up with the ball, but I think Ward has it when the play's over. This should be Texas Tech's football.
The intercepting player was down by rule. 1st and 10, Texas Tech.
At the end of the play, Clint Chelf's hoping the call goes his way because he made a grave error there in reading coverage. He didn't see it at all and threw it right to Keenan Ward and turned the ball over. But Oklahoma State has a chance to really put a stranglehold on this game.
So each quarterback has thrown 2 interceptions. First down at the 45 for Davis Webb. And Webb to Amaro. Amaro down the sideline, still on his feet, and finally knocked out of bounds at the 20. Jace Amaro, gain of 35. No quit in the Red Raiders tonight.
Everybody tries to compare people to someone else. Old school comparison for Amaro, Mike Ditka.
Webb to Miller. And Eric Ward will be stopped inside the 15. Ryan Simmons grabbed his ankle and brought him down. And he gains about 6.
He's a well-built young man, too. Over 200 pounds is Eric Ward, so it's tough to get him down in a one-on-one tackle.
2nd and 4 at the 14. Ward again. Out of bounds. at about the 9, but a first down for Clint Kingsbury and the Red Raiders. Bradley Marquez, the Texas Tech wide receiver, is in the locker room. He's suffering from cramps.
So that means Sean Corker, number 9, is taking his spot in this formation.
First and goal. And the handoff. Washington. Down at the 1.
Straight ahead, terrific blocking up front by the offensive line. They determined him down just short of the goal line. Lindell Johnson helping finish it off.
Second and goal at the 1. Here's a snap. And the handoff to DeAndre Washington. And he'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Sean Lewis, once again, we call his name.
You just follow number 11 on defense to the ball, you have a pretty good chance of being where the play is.
Third down and goal at the 1. Diamond formation. And a motion out of it. Here's a bootleg, wide open touchdown. Amaro. That fooled everybody. Jace Amaro cuts the Oklahoma State lead to 12. Great play action fake.
And watch what Amaro does. He fakes like he's blocking and then moves his way into the secondary. Excellent job of deception. Davis Webb on the fake handoff. Jace Amaro selling the run at the line of scrimmage and then getting into the end zone for the touchdown catch.
Extra point, good. 42-31, it started. Davis Webb throws it to Caleb Levy. But somehow they rallied, and Jace Amaro ends up with the score.
Freeman and Betty Reese were unmistakable Alabama football game fixtures since 1958. Home or away, they were there. And in their defense, they did caution their daughter not to plan her wedding for the 3rd Saturday in October. But everyone in attendance said the Reeses really enjoyed the reception. Fans show their loyalty in all kinds of ways. Ours, just buy another Hyundai. See what loyalty looks like at the Loyalty Report on the postgame.
42-31. There's been a personal foul assessed on the PAT, and it will be assessed on the kickoff. But Jace Amaro, what a night. 12 catches, a career high for 154 yards and a touchdown.
And you heard me a minute ago say old school comparison. I compare him to Mike Ditka and how he plays. If you ever get some old film of Ditka, when he caught the ball, people bounced off of him. I used to say the lucky ones fell off, because he had the yards after catch with his body and frame and the way he runs angry downfield. That was my takeaway from him. Amaro is a better athlete overall as we progressed, but that style of play reminds me of the old Chicago Bear.
So the penalty was called against Oklahoma State. Texas Tech will kick off from midfield.
See if they try and sky kick it here and try and pin them deep and help out their defense.
And he kicks it all the way out of the end zone. So Amaro came up huge on this last touchdown drive for Tech.
See, here's my Ditka thing. Runs through one tackle. See that? Even at the end of the play, they've got to get the barrel into him to finally get him off his feet. And then he sells the run, gets into the end zone, maybe his easiest catch of the night. Turns into 6 points for the Red Raiders.
35-yard catch and a touchdown on the drive for Jace. First down and 10 to the 25 for Oklahoma State. Pressure back on the Cowboys. Chelf underneath and deflected at the line of scrimmage. Will Smith, they're pointing to him as if he got a hand on the ball. Watch number 7.
Rushing the passer, gets his hands up into the lane. Well coached, well schooled. You don't get to the quarterback, affect the play in another way.
2nd and 10. The crowd getting behind this Texas Tech defense. Rennie Childs running. The freshman with all sorts of room. Bouncing off would-be tacklers. And finally is dragged down at the 47. A 17-yard gain. Bruce Jones had to hold on.
One thing Oklahoma State has in all three of their runners, physical, tough runners. Look at the yards after contact that Rennie Childs picks up.
First down, Chelf. Josh Stewart.
Clint Chelf pass complete to the ball of Josh Stewart.
Quick tip of the cap to offensive coordinator Mike Yursich. You know why? 1st and 10, pass gets broken up. He comes back on 2nd and long and runs the ball inside. Not afraid to see what the defense is giving him and take it even on long distance situations.
2nd and 4. Childs, first down. Childs still on the move and he gets to the 30. Keenan Ward with the saving tackle. But Oklahoma State bearing down now. No secrets here. Childs again. That offensive line doing a nice job for OK State on this drive. Brandon Garrett, Brandon Webb, James Jenkins, Daniel Koenig.
Give Parker Graham the most versatile of all.
Play fake, Chelf. And Chelf finds Marcel Aitman and a 13-yard pickup in front of Derek Mays.
So now you're thinking new school defense. Limit them to a field goal attempt in the red zone. That's what you're thinking if you're Texas Tech to keep this game in hand.
Desmond Rowland back in. And they give it to him. And Desmond Rowland ridden down after a gain of about 2.
Run out an extra blocker out on the field for Oklahoma State.
Rowland cuts it inside. Whoa, nice step. And he'll get the first down. An 8-yard gain. He should have been stopped for about a 2-yard gain.
They went big. Look to the right side. Number 86 there. Rowland made his man miss. And number 86 is Zach Beach, who's an offensive lineman wearing an eligible number. Rowland made that play happen.
They don't give him the first down. 3rd and 1. Chelf again. Touchdown. 8 yards for Clint Chelf. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the evening.
We have to change the book on him, aren't we?
Yes.
The book on him is
he wasn't a runner,
not a runner, right? Mike Gundy said in a press conference last week, I'm trying to tell y'all, y'all, that he can run. He's very underrated as a runner. You guys think he can't because he's more of a thrower. Well, we've seen tonight, and from last week we had 86 yards running it. Guess what, folks? Clint Chelf is a dual threat quarterback.
Extra point, good. The hold, a little shaky, but controlled. Oklahoma State with 243 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns. 2 by this man, Clint Chelf.
And how about how he has not been daunted by his mistakes tonight? He's made mistakes, bounced back. And now Cliff Kingsbury has to rally his team yet again.
I mean, look at the line that Chelf has put up. Although he's thrown 2 interceptions, passing, he's 18 of 33, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Rushing, 3 carries, 78 yards, and 2 scores.
He threw for 78 yards last week. So he has jumped it up in a big way. And coming into this game, there was a school of thought that if he didn't play well early, we would see his backup J.W. Walsh early. Well, guess what? That hasn't come close to materializing this evening.
85 yards rushing, a career high last week against Iowa State. 78 tonight, and we haven't even hit the fourth quarter.
And you can see his intelligence. Look who he's hanging out with. The offensive line. You hang out with the big boys that help you.
Jakeem Grant. And Grant looking for a hole. Grant up the sideline. Grant cuts it inside and spins down at the 46. A 45-yard return. But there is a flag on the play back at the 24.
After the play, unnecessary roughness, receiving team number 87, hitting a man obviously out of the play. 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot, first down.
Aaron Fisher, a backup receiver, trying to help out his team, but sounds like he was well away from the play, making the block. So that negates a huge return by Jakeem Grant.
Fisher will sit by himself on the Texas Tech bench. Davis Webb starts at his own 31. Webb. And Jordan Davis. Tackled hard by Sean Lewis, but he holds on to the ball. A gain of 2. Here's Webb again. Over the middle, Jason Morrow can't hold on, and he gets that. And this may be targeting.
Yes.
You saw Amaro's head snap back.
That's my first thought, is what you said, Gus, is that we may have the targeting. And this is going to be a tough one against the defensive back because he was really standing straight up, and Amaro was hit into him, is my initial thought. That's my first, that's what I saw on the initial play. I'd love to see, we'll see the replay coming up. But let's take a look. Across the middle. Hit him in the chest. But you see the face
Personal
mask.
foul, targeting, defense number 27. That's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. And number 27 has disqualified himself from the game. The ruling with targeting is under further review.
Lindell Johnson.
And what you have, watch the hit, because he hits him in the chest initially, but watch the helmet right there into the head area of Jason Morrow. That's what they're trying to take out of the game. And here it is at real speed.
And when you look at Lindell Johnson, I know his head did touch Jason Morrow's head, but it looked like he tried to pull up. It's almost as if their heads bumped, as opposed to him using the crown of his helmet to make the tackle.
I agree totally, because the target, he wasn't trying to do it, but he got run into the play. But by letter of the rule, if it happens, this is the result. They're trying to get everyone to change target areas, get the head out of the game with the contact. So he's been disqualified here in the second half, which means he misses the first half of the next game if this is upheld by replay. Replay can look at it and take that back.
Mike Herrera, you're there. Your thoughts on this bang-bang play?
Well, you know, he didn't really do any of the things they talk about in terms of launch or lead with the shoulder. Unfortunately, it's incidental contact. To me, I see why it's called, because it's a defenseless receiver. But if I'm in replay, I really reverse that aspect of the ejection, because I don't think it was a targeting type of hit. He did not target the receiver. So I'd like to think replay goes to the extent of trying to buy out or buy off the ejection, but hard to say.
After further review, number 27 is not disqualified. However, by rule, the 15-yard penalty is still in force, first down.
Mike, continue your thought.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'd like to see replay doing. You know, to me, it doesn't fall into that category where he actually targeted the guy. The unfortunate aspect of it here is the 15-yard penalty still stays, and I think that's what's going to be discussed at length in the offseason.
Yeah, I do too, Mike.
By the Oklahoma State bench. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Now the Oklahoma State bench has been flagged for 15 yards.
And what's probably the unfortunate side of that is they were probably getting on the officials about the call before it got reversed and ended up taking it anyway. But Gus, you nailed it on the beginning about if maybe it wasn't truly targeted.
Well, off his back foot. Incomplete. Intended for Eric Wood. Mike Gundy's reaction, and that's a penalty right there.
See, and that was before they came back and said that his player would be back in the game. But Gus, you saw it right at the beginning. You said that doesn't look like what the targeting rule is. Mike Pereira showed us, upheld it. Great job in seeing it.
Here's a handoff. Williams. And Williams kept his balance after Sean Lewis tried to drag him down from behind. And he gains 8 on the play. Brings up 3rd down and short. Once again, Kenny Williams, and he'll pick up the first down. Oklahoma State has rushed for 243 yards. Tech 82. Davis Webb drops it off. Williams with a blocker. Williams to the 10, and he's finally downed inside the 10 and around the 8. Closing moments of the 3rd quarter. It looks like Davis Webb will be content with allowing the clock to run out. And that's the end of the 3rd with the score. OSU. Welcome back as we take a look at the scoring by quarter. Oklahoma State still playing extremely well in the 3rd, outscoring Texas Tech 21-7. Here's Webb handing it off to DeAndre Washington.
Look who made the tackle. The man who did not get disqualified, Lindell Johnson. He's had a tough night tonight having to deal with Jason Morrow. But he's also made some nice plays too.
Morrow back in the game now. Got his bell rung by Johnson on that play. 2nd and 7 at the 8 for Texas Tech. Lost the ball, picked up, and they'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Kenny Williams picked it up. Jason Morrow, after taking that hit from Lindell Johnson, maybe a little foggy. He fumbled once early in the 1st half. Fumbled last week against Oklahoma, now puts it on the turf once again.
His 3rd time in 2 ball games, quite unlike him.
3rd and 8. Big down here. For the Red Raiders. Well, just locks it up. Incomplete. And a flag. Datejuan Lowe may be called for his 2nd pass interference penalty on Jason Morrow.
Morrow's 6'6", 260.
Posting him up.
Low 5'11", 205. And Davis Webb understands that and just puts it up there and says, go get it, big fella. And if you don't get it, I don't think the other guy can hold you anyway. And they're going to end up being the beneficiaries of the call, I believe.
There is no foul for pass interference. It's 4th down.
Wow. Let's take a look again. He's all over it. I'm sorry, I don't know how you pick up the flag on that one. And last week, remember at Oklahoma, Gus, they called offensive pass interference against Jakeem Grant that we're still searching for. And now they get this one in the end zone. Gotta admit, that's a surprise to me. He looked like he was draped on him in the end zone.
Certainly did. Ryan Buston, good from 32 yards away. This one will be from 26. And it's good. So the Raiders have to settle for 3. 13:33 to go, fourth quarter, 49-34 our score. And here come the Cowboys on 0.
Oklahoma State, Desmond Rowland, 3 more rushing touchdowns. And then Davis Webb, 4th straight 300-yard game for the freshman. And Jason Morrow, career high 13 catches, and has had a huge impact on this game as a tight end.
Short kick, fielded at the 20-yard line. And this is Desmond Rowland. Rowland gets to the 40 and all the way up to the 45. Now let's go to the studio and join Patrick O'Neill for a game break.
Thanks, gentlemen. Ball game in Tallahassee, Miami, Florida State after Jameis Winston's second pick. Stephen Morris guns it to Allen Hurns. Tippy-toe in. Touchdown, 21-14, just starting the third quarter. Gus and Charles, we'll keep you updated.
And that's what Miami needed tonight, a huge game from their quarterback, Stephen Morris. And they've got a game going on in Tallahassee.
And we've got one going on right here. First down and 10 at the 44. And some high stepping by Willie Childs as he hops through the hole. I'll tell you what, this freshman came on in the TCU game when Jeremy Smith was having some problems, and he showed that he has some major talent running the ball.
Look at him running right through the attempted tackle there by a freshman, I believe, Justice Nelson, who they just took the red shirt off of, finally getting his first playing time. They're playing him as safety, but he's built like a cornerback, about 175 pounds.
Childs, 4 carries, 55 yards. He scoots through the hole once again. He's got a great burst, not only up the middle, folks, but he's terrific off the edge as well. They thought about redshirting Childs, but they needed him against TCU, and that red shirt went right out the window.
And all 3 of the backs at Oklahoma State deal out punishment at the end of their runs.
And Childs again. Talk about a kid with a burst. Clint Chelf. 11-yard game.
They picked their spots well with him in the running game, haven't they? They've established the runs inside with Rennie Childs, of course, Desmond Rowland. And then when they really want it, they'll pull the ball with Clint Chelf and pick up additional yardage.
Chelf, 4 carries, 89 yards. Now Childs. And he'll be tackled behind the line of scrimmage by Brandon Jackson. Also Bennett Okafor joining in.
And what's the added benefit of this drive for Oklahoma State? The clock is ticking, bleeding it out, trying to reduce the opportunities for Texas Tech, their high-powered offense, to come back at them.
2nd and 11. Jeremy Smith in the game. Check. Deflected, incomplete. Josh Stewart, the intended receiver. They say Kerry Hyder got a hand on it.
Another good play by Hyder. Has already blocked a punt tonight. I think that's the second one he's got his hands on an attempted pass.
Makes it 3rd down and 11 at the 24.
Empty set. They've gone quarterback draw with this set before, too.
Chelf will run it on the quarterback draw. But this time, Texas Tech knew it was coming. Brandon Jackson eventually makes the tackle, but the hole was plugged up in the middle of the defensive line of Tech.
And frankly, I don't think Mike Gundy's overly concerned about that. He wanted to make sure they try to get a chance to get points on this drive. Quarterback draw was, hey, if we got it, great. If not, come on, freshman, knock it through the post. Ben Grogan has his opportunity.
Well, his career long is 39 yards. This one will be from 41 yards away. Gundy showing confidence in the freshman. Oh, hit the left upright. And goes through. And Big Grogan will take it. Sometimes, folks, it's better to be a little bit lucky.
Boy, Davis Webb got fooled, didn't he? He got fooled. He thought the dunk meant that it was going to be no good.
And Texas Tech will start from the 25. Here comes Davis Webb. Major deficit in front of him now, 52-34. Oklahoma State, last couple of years, they've really been successful putting up points, 66 and 59. And now 52.
And they need Davis Webb with more of that first half, more of the first half numbers than the second half numbers we've seen so far in terms of yardage.
Webb, easy throw to Keith Grant. Goes down hard. Gilbert with the tackle, and Grant grabs his left, the side of his left thigh. Make that Eric Ward, I'm sorry. Second and 1. Here's Webb. Over the middle. That's Jakeem Grant. And he'll pick up a first down. Ward, little hitch in his gait. He's back on the field. West. Bouncing around the pocket. And he'll throw this one out of play.
And now for your Oklahoma State's defense, there's one overriding thought going on for you right now. Keep everything in front. No big explosive plays, no 20-yard plus pass plays, runs, whatever. Keep everything in front, make them run additional plays, and keep that clock moving and draining it.
Second and 10. Webb checks down, finds Washington. And Washington, the game maybe a yard and a half, possibly 2, in front of Tyler Patman.
I think at this stage, you're looking at Texas Tech and you're thinking Cliff Kingsbury's thinking 2 plays here, 3rd and 4th down, because he's probably worried the clock will get away from him.
And he's sacked. First sack of the day for Oklahoma State. Emmanuel Agba, the redshirt freshman from Houston.
And what I needed to say was, unless there's a loss of yardage, because now they can't go for it. It's too much to go. And Agba comes around the side. And gets the sack. So now they've got to punt the ball away.
Ryan Ertzleben from the 22. Drives his football. Josh Stewart. And Stewart goes down at the 20. 8:47 to go in the 4th. Clint Chelf has been a terrific orchestrator this evening, leading the Oklahoma State offense.
It's up a touchdown. Jason Morrow over 100 yards for the 4th straight game and 13 catches, a career high. And Will Smith, the leading tackler on his team, does it again tonight with 8 tackles and knocked the pass away.
So Oklahoma State takes over with a 52-34 lead. 8:47 remaining. And they'll run the football on first down. And it's Rennie Childs. Childs has done a very nice job coming in and spelling Rowland. Running the ball. Childs, as you take a look at the yards given up on the ground by Texas Tech over the last 2 weeks. Oklahoma State. Child, 7 carries, 63 yards. Averaging 9 yards a carry. Stewart in motion. Here's a handoff. And there's some running room for Rennie Childs again as he gets to the 30, tackled by Austin Stewart.
Well, you know what they say. They always talk about the NFL being a copycat league. It's a copycat league in any league you play in. So now when you're watching your Texas Tech tape, you're saying to your offensive line coach, your receivers, everyone, guys, if we can't run the football, there's something wrong, because the blueprint is out there now. Texas Tech will have some work to do in the upcoming weeks to try and shore up their run defense.
3rd down and 4. Here comes a blitz. And Oklahoma State will not pick up the 1st down. Rennie Childs comes up a little short. And here comes a Cowboy punt team.
So based on what we're seeing tonight, Gus, you know who's got some soul searching to do and is going to have to really get some work done in practice is Jeremy Smith, the 3rd runner now, who started the season as the starter. Rennie Childs has come in and been very impressive behind Desmond Rowland tonight.
Dick Smith will punt it away. Jordan Davis comes up, and this ball will be down at the 36. 7:01 to go in the 4th. Texas Tech back on offense after this.
You know, the windshield is
52-34, Oklahoma State. And the Cowboys came out from the very beginning of this game and showed that they were all business, up 21-0 at one point. Another low snap picked up by Webb and almost intercepted. Jared Castor has struggled with the snaps tonight out of the shotgun formation.
We saw that a couple weeks ago with the center at TCU. Remember that, Gus, against Oklahoma State? They ended up moving him to guard and brought in someone else to snap the ball.
There's a good snap by Castor. And Kenny Williams. 1st down.
It's not an easy thing. You know, I've gotten on these centers a little bit this year. I have to keep reminding myself, they usually have 300+ pounds of man near their nose on every snap. And you're supposed to snap it, get your hands up and block someone. It's not easily done.
Far side, caught Eric Ward.
Davis' pass complete to number 18, Eric Ward.
But you have to give a lot of credit to Mike Gundy. His team came into this season and they were not only expecting to win the Big 12, picked by the media as the #1 team. Oklahoma State with 15 first-place votes. 2nd and 6. And Morrow with the catch and the 1st down as he gets to the 32. But they were also thinking that this could be a year like in 2011 when they went 12-1 and were in the national title picture most of the year before suffering a late season loss.
The Iowa State game on a Friday night under some tough circumstances.
Webb, incomplete. But what Mike Gundy has done has been pretty amazing. He was 12-15 through his first 27 games. He's 61-21 since, including 23-3 in 2010 and 2011. Leading Oklahoma State to wins at Texas and Texas Tech in 2010. First time since '94 the Cowboys had won at either place. Kenny Williams and a 1st down. Zach Craig with the tackle.
Early in his tenure, he had to set a new foundation there. Wanted to get things done his way. Discipline, get the program on firm footing. And fortunately,
as Williams picks up another 1st down,
was able to do that. Being a native son, the quarterback there, his alma mater, they gave him that time and opportunity. And how about a great payoff for them at Oklahoma State? Because since then, they've been rolling.
Williams. For Coach Gundy, 7 straight bowl appearances. 5-2 in those games. It's an ongoing record. 2nd and 8. Davis Webb. in the end zone. Incomplete. Bradley Marquez, closest man to the football. But that man, Clint Chelf, he has thrown 2 interceptions, but other than those 2 mistakes, he's been pretty doggone good this afternoon or this evening. Well, lost one. Incomplete and a flag. Ashton Lampkin defensively, it looks like he'll pick up the pass interference penalty.
And that was all by design and formation. They went bunch all the way to the opposite side to make it a one-on-one route to the top of the screen there with Eric Ward. Lampkin has his hands on him. They're hand fighting both ways.
Pass interference.
And the call goes against Lampkin.
Number 6. The foul occurred in the end zone. By rule will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
Sometimes when they're fighting it out that way, both of them, they will just keep the flag in their pocket and say, you guys work it out. But in this case, they determined Lampkin got there early.
So first down and goal at the 2 for Texas Tech. Davis Webb in the end zone. Incomplete, intended for Jason Morrow. He had 2 hands on the football, just couldn't bring it down.
Did Datejuan Lowe affected at the end? Does it look like he hung with the play pretty well? Talk about Lowe, the safety, number 8. Catch, and you see Lowe, yes, getting a hand in late to help knock it free and prevent the touchdown.
Second and goal from the 2. Diamond formation. They'll run it this time and won't get there. Kenny Williams taken down by James Castleman as the big man makes the tackle for a loss.
Didn't you mention earlier in the game this is almost a homecoming for him?
That's right, from Amarillo. As a matter of fact, I drove in from Amarillo.
So how far is it?
2 hours. A great drive on 27. Third and goal at the 4. Play fake. Webb finds his receiver, but he won't get there. DeAndre Washington got clobbered right before he went into the end zone, and this time it's Datejuan Lowe.
2 pretty good plays on this drive by Lowe. Sets up 4th and goal for Texas Tech to go for it, trying to get their personnel on the field.
Jakeem Grant lines up in the slot at the top of your screen. Here's Davis Webb and some movement.
Let's see what this flag is and see what the decision is going to have to be for Cliff Kingsbury.
Offside defense coming into the neutral zone, causing an offensive false start. At the distance to the goal, it's 4th down.
They're still probably going to go for it here. Look in the, I think it's in the middle area. Nope, right there, it's a tackle working. Is that Barnett, 99?
Yes, Calvin Barnett. 4th down and goal at the 1. And they will not get in. How about this Oklahoma State defense denying Kenny Williams? James Castleman, first man of the football. And the Red Raiders turn it over on down.
And there's times when I watch teams play that I think personality. What is truly your personality? Is it for Texas Tech? Have they established yet that they're the personality of knocking people off the ball on 4th down and short and going that way? Or are they more the personality of making sure that Davis Webb throws the ball? Something Cliff Kingsbury is trying to develop. Hasn't totally taken root yet. Oklahoma State wins the battle of the line of scrimmage on that play.
So with 4:05 to go, the Cowboys will have the football at the 2-yard line.
Welcome home, Big James Castleman, originally committed to Texas Tech before ultimately deciding to matriculate at Oklahoma State.
Confusion now for the Cowboys, and they will call a timeout. 4:05 to play. Back after this.
Play, you can't touch this.
52-34. Oklahoma State, the Cowboys, trying to improve their record to 7-1, 4-1 in conference play if they hold on to win this game. Their only loss to West Virginia, 30-21. On first down to Desmond Rowland. Rowland knocked backwards. Hard to bring this man down.
That one loss is the one that sticks with you, because you mentioned earlier they had aspirations of not just a Big 12, but competing for a national championship. When they lost to West Virginia on the road early, it really took them off everyone's radar. You know, because losing to West Virginia is not a game that people go, okay, it's one of those quality losses. That was not one for them. And so now it sets them back. But guess what? They're still on track now for Big 12 championship. They are still on track. Everything's still ahead of them. The schedule plays out. They've got tough games coming up, but they control it themselves.
And Oklahoma State, if they win this game, have a great chance of moving up into BCS with this road win against Texas Tech. Texas Tech came in ranked 15th, Oklahoma State 18th. And as we mentioned at the top of our broadcast, 5 teams with a chance coming into today to win the Big 12 title.
Let's go ahead and start. Let's just stay right here. Okay, Oklahoma State, look at what they have coming up. Kansas, at Texas on November 16, Baylor, Oklahoma. See, it's the beauty of the Big 12. It's all out in front of these contending teams. Oklahoma and Baylor on our air, Fox Sports 1, Thursday night. Make sure you tune in. National championship implications out there for Baylor. Texas at West Virginia, then things really get serious for them, doesn't it? Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, both at home, at Baylor to finish things off. So we're going to crown a true champion in the Big 12. And if Baylor can run the table, they could be in the mix, in the discussion, to play in the BCS National Championship.
And Chelf, looks like he may have fumbled the snap. He just falls on it. They lose 2 yards. And a timeout call by the Red Raiders. Let's take a look at the BCS top 10.
Alabama and Oregon both open this week. Florida State leading Miami 35-14. They've taken off since it's 21-14. Ohio State went style points today, didn't they? At Purdue, they need that. Stanford plays Thursday night against Oregon. Baylor, we've mentioned already. Miami already. Clemson, big over Virginia, expected that. Missouri over my Tennessee Volunteers. And Oklahoma, they're getting ready for a huge one. Thursday night at Baylor.
For the Cowboys, Kip Smith punting out of his own end zone. Bobbles the snap. Picks it up and delivers. Jordan Davis lets it take a bounce. Picks it up. Off the bounce. Goes down. At midfield. Now let's take a look at 11-3-20.
We still have a ways to go. Some upsets can happen. Auburn, they've worked their way into the mix with that big win at Texas A&M a couple weeks ago. Johnny Football and the Aggies took on the Miners, winning big. LSU, you know their next game is? Alabama. That'll be big next week. South Carolina won big today. Texas Tech we're seeing right now. Fresno State, Nevada, they're just getting started. If you haven't seen Jordan Lynch play at Northern Illinois, folks, watch him play quarterback, and guess what? They were in a BCS game last year. They could be a BCS buster again this season. And then Louisville, they were off this week. And UCLA beating Colorado right now.
First down and 10 at the 49 for Texas Tech. Another low snap over the middle. Ball caught by Eric Ward. He'll get down at the 41. Sean Lewis again.
Complete to number 18, Eric Ward.
Sean Lewis is one of my favorite players in college football. He's just all over the place. Play him in coverage, blitz him. Good, sure tackler in the open field. There's Joe Mitchell, a former safety, now turned linebacker, who's played well for Oklahoma State this season.
So with 2:43 to go in the fourth, let's recap this football game for you. Oklahoma State getting off to a great start.
Desmond Rowland, you mentioned it at the top. The Desmond Rowland running the football would be huge for Oklahoma State. We knew Jay Samara was a terrific player. He showed us yet again. Career night in terms of number of catches. But Clint Chelf, okay, we've said it. Change the book on him. When you say he's not a running quarterback, you're making a big mistake in your scouting report. He is a dual threat quarterback now. Can run it and throw it.
And look at the plays. Maybe the center is the reason the snaps are low is because they're tired. Texas Tech with 92 plays running now.
You're saying maybe they're going to have to ice down, a little rotator cuff issue,
A little
snapping
bit,
it.
like a starting pitcher. And a hand off to Washington.
Washington, the ball carrier. For
Texas Tech with 1 timeout left. Oklahoma State has 2. Davis Webb. Over the middle. And Washington goes down at the 24 by Lindell Johnson. It's good to see the officials get that call right with Lindell Johnson because you don't want to see him miss a game.
I think they've done a nice job all night long. I probably really only have an issue with one call in the end zone.
DeAndre Washington again picking up 12 yards.
I agree with you, Gus. They got together on it, and the replay officials were the ones who really got it right because they had a chance to review it. Jack McDonald and Jeff Hansen.
Hold on. Incomplete. For Texas Tech, after this game, they'll take on Kansas State, followed by a game in Arlington, Texas against Baylor. They'll have a bye and wrap up their season against Texas.
There's a lot they can still accomplish.
Davis Webb throwing for the 70th time. And it's caught, a flag on the play, though. DeAndre Washington working really hard this evening.
Holding offense number 62. 10-yard penalty. It's second down.
It's LaRaven Clark.
I think it's holding.
Freshman All-American last year, playing mostly at right guard. They moved him out to left tackle because that was his future. And it continues to be his future. A terrific talent. Got caught holding on that play. But we're going to have Jared Castor, the center, and Davis Webb both getting iced down after this game. The number of throws he's made.
And DeAndre Washington taken down by Ryan Simmons, the outside linebacker from Cibolo, Texas, sophomore. Clock still running. 1:22 and counting. Tech would love to punch it in one more time. Big strike. Jimmy Bean brings the big tight end down. Jay Samara has had a career day in catches. That's his 15th. Webb delivers. Knocked away. Sean Lewis with a hand on the ball.
And that's a candidate right there for Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week. I don't know about all the other performances, but Sean Lewis has to rank up there for consideration.
51 seconds to go. Davis Webb walks off. 72 pass attempts tonight. Ties the school record set back in 2007 by Graham Harrell. Webb finishes the evening 45 of 72 for 426 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 18 years old, true freshman.
Loves the game, passionate about it, grew up with it. His father, Matt, was his offensive coordinator in high school. Talked about Davis would leave him play cards all the time when he'd come home. He's saying, I like this, I like that. And as much as he didn't want to admit it, a lot of it was pretty good.
Don't forget, coming up Thursday on FS1, this is the big one, folks. Oklahoma at Baylor, 10 versus 6. Baylor leads FBS in scoring and total yards, highest rank in their school history. They're going to be rocking in Waco. But right here in Lubbock, Texas, the final score, the Oklahoma State Cowboys come into town and defeat Texas Tech 52-34. Oklahoma State now 7-1, 4-1 in conference play. Coming up next for them, they're at home to take on the Kansas Jayhawks.